Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about leaving the pods and gaslighting your gal.
Like Amber, we too historically have a strong distaste for men.
Yeah, until we met Jordan. And now we see.
Now we
So,
love men. Men are good.
so today we're getting into Love is Blind, episodes 4 to 6, the second half of the first drop of season 10. The mind reels at the number of hours of Love is Blind
I
content we've all consumed at this point.
I know. I truly always start to feel a little bit insane when we're covering these first 6 episodes. It's just like such a high volume of things happening. It feels even crazier because we're
Yeah.
following so many people during this drop. I'm like, I think I'm just living in a fugue state, but it's worth it.
They didn't always do 6 episodes for the first drop. I assume that they just wanna get us out of the pods because that feels so, boring to a lot of viewers, but, I get disoriented by the first 6 episodes. We're gonna do our best, though. I think we've learned who is who, out of all of the identical-looking white guys this season.
It helps once they're like separated a bit more into couples.
Yeah, when one guy who looks identical to another guy, they're both talking to the same woman and having similar conversations, there's just no chance. So before we dive into this batch, a little housekeeping. We recently put out an episode on Rich Text about season 4 of Bridgerton, the first half of this season. And we had a lot of fun talking about the Cinderella trope and the mistress offer, and you can check that out over on Rich Text. We also recently put out an episode about who gets to be a good mom with author E.J. Dixon, who just wrote a fantastic book called One Bad Mother about that very topic. And you can find both of those episodes at claireandemma.substack.com.
Okay, so let's get into it. Episodes 4 through 6, OHIO.
Oh, right. It's
Yay.
Ohio.
It's
Yes.
Ohio. It's Ohio.
It's Ohio.
So before our couples are officially all engaged and heading off into what I can only imagine will be a blissful and drama-free getaway,
Mm.
we got to get them through the rest of the pods. And if anyone has forgotten, episode 3 ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. Connor appears to be breaking up with Emma, maybe. So let's just dive right back in to the Brianna, Connor, Emma, Mike love chain.
Yeah. So Connor is just doing that classic pod breakup where he kind of dangles that he's interested in breaking up. And then his second pick is like, it feels like maybe you want to break up. And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, don't you though? And he's like, yeah, I do. Yeah, that's what I want. She has to push him. Can you just tell me what you want here? And he finally admits, I got a gut punch on my last date. And it was just a different feeling for me. And Emma sighs and is like, I think that's a sign. And Connor's like, yeah, sorry. And she's like, no, we're all good. And they part ways. It's very amicable. Emma really takes setbacks in stride.
I know, it's truly impressive, wise beyond her years. But afterwards, she's kind of unsure what to do. She had really zoned in on Connor as her number one, and she doesn't want Mike to just be a backup choice that she goes back to, but she also feels like she owes it to herself to adequately explore things with Mike before she decides whether or not to move forward with that connection.
She says, it would be regretful of me not to try. A
I
lot
think
of
she
just
means
slightly
I would regret not
yeah,
trying.
it would be regrettable. A lot of just slightly off word choices in this batch of episodes. But yeah, she doesn't know this, but Mike is not a second choice. He's actually an identical choice. They're basically the same person. So
They
you
both
can't
have dark
lose.
beards. I don't know. I still find them to be different in terms of vibe, but
Well,
I
to be
get it.
fair, I'm sure they seem more different when you can't see their faces. I lose my ability to distinguish their personalities when I see those beards. What if it's just the same guy and he's in a different mood right now? You know what I mean? He's feeling
Well,
sensitive today.
It's always possible on Love is Blind. But to her credit, Emma is quite upfront with Mike, which I think, like, if you go back to your number two, you've got to be honest.
Yeah, and I think unlike someone else we'll discuss later, she also has the benefit of a little more time. It's not the end of the
Exactly.
line. They clearly have a few days to kind of focus in on each other. And so it's still a kind of reasonable point in the process to be like, look, I was maybe wanting to pursue things with someone else, but he broke things off with me. And I do want to see if there's anything there with us. I do really like you. Like, should we regroup and give it a shot?
Exactly. And there is that time. And so he takes it really well. He's basically like, look, you've been my number one the whole time. Let's give this a go and think about what you want your ring to look like.
And that really gets her in the mood. She's like, "Oh my god, a ring. Yes. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm ready." I think like obviously these dates are cut together in a way where we only see a brief moment of the conversation and it really seems like she's just excited to be proposed to. But I also remember that horrible conversation she had with Steven, and anytime since then, whenever she has a good conversation with Mike or Connor, she's just like, "Thank you for being so understanding. I enjoyed talking to you and not being yelled at for not having seen a movie starring Rachel McAdams."
I also think there's just something very comforting to her about his security in himself and in their connection.
Yeah, she's really feeling like there's something here I was overlooking. Let's zone in. So
Yeah.
later in the quarter, she tells Amber that she feels secure and loved, and Mike is the one for her. So during their next date, she says she woke up at peace for the first time in a long time. It must, on some level, just be a relief to not have to make a decision.
Honestly, yeah.
They exchange gifts, and she gives him like family Christmas newsletters that her mom wrote over the years, and he reads one aloud. It's from the year that she was 5, and she had just had a bunch of her surgeries on her birthmark. And it also talks about how she like got really interested in the medical stuff and like learned all the names of the bandages, and like you really get this picture of her family and how loving it was and what a
It's
cool
really
kid she
sweet.
was. I loved it. It made me think that I should write Christmas letters because otherwise I just won't have these cute stories to tell. I'll forget everything. And he gives her a scrapbook that they can fill out together and reveals that he loves to scrapbook. He decorated the front.
I love this too.
Like, this is secure masculinity. This is like, I love scrapbooking, and I'm going to give my heterosexual girlfriend one that I made, and I don't feel weird about that at all. I love that.
I just like to imagine that Mike took a really great trip to Michael's and went to the scrapbooking aisle and picked out like all the little stickers. Really into it.
I know. Adorable.
So the one
Um,
sticking point for Mike continues to be the kid thing. He just knows that he absolutely wants to have children. And Emma, of course, is unsure. And he brings up the possibility of genetic testing. He basically asks, would that make you feel any better? Because Emma, of course, has brought up the fact that her lack of knowledge about her bio family's medical history is part of what is making her so anxious about becoming
yeah.
a parent.
I had the same thought, actually. It's tough because
Yeah,
not everything is caught in a genetic test and you never truly know, but
a lot can
a lot
be
can. Yeah.
discovered, especially at this point. Like technology has really gotten much better.
Yeah. But it's also possible that that's just part of the rationale she's developed because if you don't want to have kids, sometimes people are always asking you and you have to come up with explanations for why you don't.
Exactly. I also think the fact that she is still in her late 20s, it's like she just hasn't had the space or the reason to really interrogate this question. And so I think that she is being just so honest about the fact that she is truly unsure. And I agree, this genetic thing might be one piece of it, but it also just seems like she is truly ambivalent about having
Yeah.
children.
Like hearing her talk about it more and more, I'm like, I can't tell if she's like backfilling explanations because she just doesn't want kids, or if she's kind of like, just am not in a place in my life where I've worked out the answers to what my life should look like. Like she says, with you, I can imagine having a family, I can see it, but it's not something I've ever really thought about before. It's new to me. And, some days I'm selfish and I don't want to take care of anyone else.
I'm like, same girl. I get
I'm
it.
like, same.
No,
And I
everyone.
literally do.
Yeah.
And I used to, I never wanted to even like get a dog because I was like, if I have to take a pet outside for a walk every day, that's just too much work. Like
It's literally why I
most
don't have a dog.
exactly. And like most people sometimes just want to be selfish. But at the same time, if because of that you're like, I never want to give that up and take care of someone anyway, like that's valid. She's also, I think, has this image of her parents in her head as like these perfect parents who did so much for their kids. And she's like, I don't know if I could live up to that. I don't know if I could do that. She's like, I've maxed out my credit card before. And Mike is like, me too. It's fine. Our parents will give us money when we run into debt.
Like, well, that's one option if that's available to you.
I was truly dying because like, yes. And also he's like, we can become parents. Our parents will just pay for us to be parents. That's what parents are for.
Yeah, I was like, on the one hand, I do appreciate you not judging her for like running into financial difficulties. These systems, the credit systems can be incredibly like predatory. A lot of young people find themselves in debt at some point. It's very common. At the same time, I was like, maybe some other systems might need to be in place other than just like our parents are the backstop forever.
Yeah, because what you're signing up for is to then be the backstop for your kids forever. So, think that through to its logical conclusion. But he's like, it'll be fine. We are growing up. We're going to learn how to not go into debt, probably.
And he ultimately comes to the conclusion that he's fine to keep pursuing the relationship when the kids thing is still a question mark because he just feels such a strong connection to Emma. But it's clear that this is going to keep coming up. He's like, I'm gonna keep trying to convince you.
Yeah, this really seemed to me like the kind of connection where he's like, no, I care about you so much that I'm willing to still go ahead. And I'm thinking, you mean that you're gonna give it a shot and see if she agrees to have kids at some point?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So they both seem to feel good about where they've left this. So on proposal day, Emma has prepared this heartfelt speech. She tells him that he's the one consistency she's found in this experience. Things between them happened, like the proverbial bankruptcy. What is it, Hemingway? So slowly and then all at once. She's like, I choose you and I'm in love with you. And Mike says that he feels safe, secure, and listened to by Emma. He can be emotional with her, which isn't something that he really felt he could do growing up. So sweet.
I was like, let boys cry.
Yeah, I love that he can have a relationship where he can cry and scrapbook. And that's just so perfect to me. He asks her to marry him, and she says yes. And Carly Rae Jepsen's Cut to the Feeling plays. What a perfect pop song.
God, just honestly, the music supervisor for Love is Blind deserves a raise. Incredible work the last few seasons.
Their music budget is already taking over the show. So before the reveal, Mike says that he did wonder when Emma told him about her surgeries, like how big the scars were.
You can tell that, like, rewatching these episodes, like having watched them twice, I was like, oh, I can see the leading questions that producers are asking. Like, it's clear that in some of these confessionals, it's not like someone is sitting there being like, this is a really big concern for me. It's clear that a producer has said, what went through your mind when XYZ was said? Was that at all? Did that give you pause even for a second or
right,
whatever?
That's like the shadiness of getting to control putting this show together, because you can prompt them with a question like that, and then you have a quote of them saying, I did wonder how big they were. Like, that's them responding to you saying, did you wonder how big they were? And then you can put that in at this key moment so that everyone is watching with bated breath to see if he's going to react to how big the scars are. And that just, they're very good at what they do, but it feels a little shitty. Feels a little shitty. And it's put there to make you feel nervous that he's going to reject her, because she does have scarring over a lot of her arm. But he says he wants to judge her off of the connection they made, and his only real concern is the kid difference that they have.
And I believe him. from what we see, that seems to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, the reveal goes really well.
Yeah.
She had a completely different mental image of him apparently, but she's like, he's tall, dark, and handsome. Like, this is a great surprise.
What's not to like? And he thinks that she's beautiful. He's just like, her smile is so gorgeous. And he does tell the camera that he's never dated a woman of a different race before, but it doesn't seem to be something that is like concerning to him.
He phrases it in a way that I found kind of funny, where he's like, what a great, amazing opportunity to get to fall in love with someone who's a different race. And I was like, that opportunity exists around you every day.
He's like,
So
"But
you're
I
saying you
wouldn't."
wouldn't have considered it,
Yeah.
right? But now that it's happened, he's like thrilled. But I'm like, you had a mental block, I guess. You didn't know they were there. But they seem like they're in a really good place. Bri and Connor, having dumped their second connections, are now all in on each other. And the next time we see them, it's proposal day. She has like a letter written for him about how he's the man she's been praying to find, and she's ready to be his forever stage 5 clinger. Just little gift that she gave the episode naming team.
It is great.
I was like, oh no, there's going to be drama. No, she's literally just being self-deprecating. Connor is like, I never saw this coming, so it's one last coincidence for us that this just happened.
It's like, this is word salad. Okay,
Is
Connor.
I like what? What?
He's like, I think he's speaking about the whole experience. And I'm like, that's actually not a coincidence because you're in
Right,
an experiment that's designed to funnel you towards this outcome, if
right.
possible. So,
It's like you went on a dating app and you're like, what a coincidence that we both want to find a
yeah,
relationship. And then we met on
exactly.
this dating app. Like, that's the whole reason that it happened. But they're doing that self-mythologizing thing about their connection a little bit, where they're like, the fates brought us together, I guess. And he's like, I love that you challenge me and you laugh at my dumb jokes. He asks her to marry him, and she says, absolutely, let's go. Side note, I learned during this proposal that her name is Brianna McNeese, or Breezy
Yes.
McNeese, and his name is Connor Speece, which opens up a potential Connor and Breezy Speece McNeese married name that I really
I
think they
support
should go
it.
for.
I think you have to. I think you're like legally obligated when it just flows like that.
Or you could do a portmanteau and do McSpeece, which is also a great name.
Kind of into that too. Wow. The
Right?
opportunities are endless here. So we see Bri go back to the lounge and announce that she's engaged, and everyone, including Emma, is just like so excited for her. So it's clear that those two are on great terms.
Yeah, the ladies have all been very
It's
graceful.
impressive.
Yeah. Before their reveal, Bri and Connor are, of course, both nervous. Connor is worried that Bri won't like how he looks. He describes himself as just a standard dude, normal body, normal height. I don't stand out. And I was like, wow, he has such self-awareness, because literally I cannot distinguish him. He is interchangeable
You're
from
like,
the
you
other
are.
men.
Wow, you're so right, Connor.
And there
But
is nothing wrong with that.
no, it did make me sad that he was like, I am just under 6 feet and therefore
5'11" and 3/4 is the self-identified height of a very insecure man.
correct.
He's like, to be clear, there's a 3/4 on there, okay? I'm so close. But
Just like,
you might
that's a
want someone who's
bummer.
over 6 foot. Maybe he's been spending too much time on the apps and the women are filtering out everyone below 6 feet.
Yeah.
But he has the integrity where
Just
he
like
has
seems
to
like a
put
great height to
5'11".
me, Connor, okay?
I don't even know how tall Greg is. I like couldn't tell you if I had a gun to my head. I have no idea. I could get you in a
Yeah, I could
range,
guess.
but
I
like
could guess without him, but like, yeah, I've never taken out the measuring tape.
fractions
Certainly
fractions of
not.
an inch, like that's not relevant.
Also, no one knows their own height, which I discovered when I went to the doctor a few months ago and was like fully measured with my shoes off for probably the first time in
Had
years.
you grown?
No, I'm an inch shorter than I thought I was my entire adult
What?
life. And not like because I was trying to lie, just probably a doctor had measured me incorrectly or like with a shoe on as like, you know, a teenager or like early 20s and just like why would I have questioned it, you know? And the nurse was laughing so hard and she was like, honestly, this is extremely common because you just don't get
No, that
you
doesn't
just don't get
surprise
precisely
me.
measured that often in adulthood. And I was like, this
Yeah.
is so weird. She's like, no, I don't think you like shrank. You just probably were improperly measured. Like I probably had a sneaker on. That's probably what happened.
That is
Yeah. So I
crazy.
was like, I'm
Wow.
5'1". I didn't know. I thought I was 5'2", like my whole life.
Welcome to your new identity as
Yeah,
a
no, it was really,
5'1"
but she was
girl.
laughing. Yeah, we were laughing so hard because I was like, I'm not like ashamed of my height. I truly just, I don't know.
I, for one, am proud to be a 5'1"
Yeah,
American.
like I
That's
don't,
crazy. Yeah, I haven't been
I'm just
measured in
saying,
years.
Connor could be wrong.
No, it's true. And I too, I'm mocking Connor affectionately, but I describe myself as 5'4.5".
Yeah, I
But
always
like,
said 5'2.5", so I'm like, I guess it's 5'1.5". Yeah, it's so sad.
oh my
So sad
God,
for
I
me.
need to,
Yeah.
go get a physical, get
Yeah, you need
measured.
to and ask them, take your shoes off, make sure
Yeah,
you're
let's do
standing
this
up.
right. I don't want to be spreading misinformation about my vertical measurements. Um, Anyway, Connor is very, a little bit insecure about his looks. He's also like, I know I'm out of shape. I'm not the most built. That's something that like actually never even occurred to me looking at him. Like, I think that we're all just getting body dysmorphia. It's not just women anymore.
100%. But
Um,
honestly, the reveal goes really well. The only
yeah.
issue is that Connor's palms are very sweaty, but Bri thinks that he's a stud. She's like, I'm ready to see all of him, clothes optional. And she assures him that he's not medium ugly. And
Which
that's
is we know is so
beautiful.
important to her. I did think that the music team should have whipped out a little Eminem here,
Wow.
right?
Yes.
What a great
Missed
needle drop.
opportunities.
Connor also thinks that she is stunning and she's the love of his life. Like he has gone from like being torn back and forth to at this point he's like she's my soulmate. I'm all in. Seeing her is like the best moment of my life. She seemed like she liked seeing me and that was like the best moment of all. He's over the moon. And after they part, he says to the producers, I fucking love you guys.
We see a
It's like,
few
I
of them
can't
do
believe,
this.
can't believe you brought me this magical woman.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we are going to get into the rest of the pod time.
And we're back. So let's talk about Chris and Jess. We had also seen Chris narrow things down to Jess. And so the next time we see them is proposal day. And Chris tells Jess that he wouldn't want to spend the rest of his life with anyone else ever. She's like, I love the way you talk to me. He's like, I'm in love with you. He proposes. They get engaged. They're very giddy. They're like
Ta-da!
touching the wall.
And their
Chris has
reveal
also
also
very,
goes well.
yes, it goes really well. They seem very attracted to each other. I mean, she's stunning.
He's very
Chris
cute.
looks,
Like,
he's very
sure.
cute. He looks kind of the same as the other guys, but he's cute. They're all cute. And they seem really attracted to each other.
Yeah, we
They
get a
can't
little
stop like
Michael
kissing.
Bublé over this reveal.
And I had forgotten, but there was a whole thing about height because Chris is short to average. I don't know how tall he is. And he's insecure about it. Like, I think he's
Yeah,
probably just average. He's probably like 5'10", 5'11".
he's just shorter than some of the other men in the lounge. That's the only way you can gauge it. Like, I have no idea how tall these
Right.
men are.
No, I think a lot of these men genuinely have complexes about not being 6 foot because of dating app filters. And
It's short
so
king season, okay? We have
it
to,
is.
it makes me upset.
But because he had this thing where he was trying to gauge whether she would be taller than 6 foot in heels, in her beloved 6-inch heels. And it turns out that she is like super short. She's
She's 5
even shorter
feet.
than you. And
We
what if
are
she goes to
one.
the doctor and finds out she's 4'11"? Like, what?
It'll change her whole identity.
It'll change her identity. But she's like, that's so funny because I'm actually so short and it's fine. I can wear 6-inch heels and I'm still shorter than you. He loves it.
Yeah, very relatable to me personally, even when I dated short to average men.
So Chris is thrilled. He tells the camera that he loves Jessica. He couldn't imagine being with anybody else ever. And based on what we see in the teaser at the end of this drop, I think he will develop the capacity to imagine that pretty soon.
It's always concerning to me when men are too effusive. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
this feels unearned.
Yeah, and he's doing a lot of, like
So
more than I think
much.
anyone, even Connor, like, he's doing the most, like, "You're the most perfect person. You're perfect. Everything about you is perfect. I like everything about you, and I always will. Like, I just can't believe you're real." And she finds this sweet, of course, because like, who wouldn't wanna hear that? But he's putting her on a pedestal that, like, very quickly will not be tenable because she's a human person.
Exactly. We see her being like, "Well, I mean, I'm not perfect.
Right.
Haha."
Yeah. It's
But
like,
at this point, they're just blissful. Jess is like crying tears of joy. And she's like, I haven't had this love before. After my divorce, I couldn't even have dreamed it. He just makes me feel so safe. I just know he's never going to let me down. I just know it. And to me, this feels like Chekhov's gun a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it feels like they put this in here because he's absolutely going to let her down. That
I
is
think
my
also
suspicion.
we just have this creeping sense that Chris is going to let her
We
down,
just
and
yeah,
so that's a
exactly.
trigger. I mean, yeah, I felt so sad because of this suspicion because I think Jess is so great. And I think between her and Amber, I feel like there's a little bit of an I understand their personal feelings about this, but the repeated emphasis on like after I got divorced, after I had a child as an unwed mother, like I didn't think I would ever get to have these traditional markers of like romantic success and like status. And I get to have it. It's such a magical miracle that I get to have that. And it does feel, while I do, like personally, I don't judge them for feeling that way. It makes me sad that there is still that sense that like once you get divorced, once you have a child out of wedlock, like it just, your life is over in some
There
sense.
just unfortunately still is a stigma against those things in
Yeah.
our culture. Like, look at where
Yeah.
we are, the patriarchy
Yeah.
going fucking strong, right? Like, it's just, yeah, no, it's very depressing.
Yeah.
Also, I'm like, Jess, you're amazing. Chris seems fine.
She's the prize. She's anyone's
Okay,
prize.
Claire, we got to talk about the
God.
biggest shit show of a love triangle I have maybe ever seen.
I have we ever seen one man needlessly fumble two such excellent options
It's wild.
so badly?
It's incredible stuff. I will say it is a satisfying arc ultimately because both women just reach their wits' end and are like,
I
I
think
can't deal with you.
Yeah, I think part of what happens is just that these women have too much self-respect and, like, this is not what they want. Not to, like, judge people who have made a different choice, but sometimes often when a guy fumbles a love triangle in the way that he does by being indecisive or, like, he goes for the one who doesn't want him, he can get the second choice to agree to get engaged to him, and in this case,
He
Tyler and Kia
cannot.
are both like, no, thank you. That's
They're
so
like, no,
sweet,
I'm
but no."
good. I'm really good. Yeah. So, of course, we are talking about Tyler, Kevin, and Kia. Tyler is still in a place where she expects that things are going to work out with Kevin. She's like, he's definitely going to make a decision at some point because he has to. Does he?
You would
Dutch?
think.
You would think. You would think.
But Kia is playing the long game. She is still just trying to lay low in the lounge, tune out the noise, and just focus on things in the pods with Kevin. So when she goes into the next date that we see her on with Kevin, they're doing gifts. And she gives him a watch just like hers. And of course, that for her was symbolizing something that her father always told her about how watches remind you to think of the time that you have. And she says, Kevin, I feel like you're in your head sometimes. I want the watch to represent that it's okay if it takes a few more ticks to understand where you're at with things. And Kevin is very touched because he does need a few more ticks to
Yeah.
understand where he's at with things.
And
He's like,
maybe a few
finally,
more ticks
someone who
after that.
understands. He's like, the clock just keeps going, and so too does my decision-making process. Like the hands on a watch, they continue into eternity.
The way he responds to this gift is so odd. Like, there's something about his affect that is just off to me. And it really started to crystallize in this drop. He's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, Kia, you deserve honesty. I'm Kevin from Columbus. I drive a beat up Chevy Cruze. I have a 1-bedroom apartment. I don't have everything figured out. You're phenomenal. Amazing person.
What? Well, no, but here's the thing. These are all totally fine things to say.
No,
But
for
like
sure.
when
But
when
why?
you're at like the end of the process and you say you deserve honesty, then you should be about to say, I choose you or I don't.
Well,
And
exactly.
instead
I was
he's
just
like,
like,
allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm Kevin.
yeah.
And like, yes, she knows that. You were honest about that part from the beginning.
He also does this thing with both of the women he's dating where he's just repeatedly giving them a laundry list of compliments that
Right.
they're just like, yeah, I know I'm a good person and I
Right.
deserve things.
He's like,
Okay.
allow me to be honest with you. And then he just like douses them with compliments.
It's
It's like,
just
you don't need to preface
empty.
that with let me be honest. You know,
The
like,
whole thing is just empty. And that's why you see both of them getting annoyed. He's like, Kia,
yeah.
you deserve the world. And she says, I do. I know that. And then she tries to reassure him. She's like, look, I'm not looking for a man who has it all. I just want a kind and thoughtful partner, basically. And she wants him to know that she also thinks he's amazing and phenomenal.
I just feel like he keeps winding up to either offer or to say, it's over.
And he never
Like,
gets there. He's
he
no
never
follow
gets
through this
there.
one.
If you're going to say, like, here's all I have to offer and you're amazing, and she says, well, that's all I need, then say, well, I'm so glad because I want to do this with you. Or
Right.
say, I'm so sorry because you deserve the world and I wish I could give it to you, but I can't. And he keeps like,
No,
he's like
he will not do either. He will not do either, Claire.
he's like, is it like the old like real like video clip of like the ferret or something running up to the edge of the table and trying to jump over to the other table and it just can't bring itself to do it?
that is Kevin perpetually.
That's Kevin.
He does give her a little blue basketball because she loves basketball. She like used to work for the Cavs.
And he wants to be the LeBron James of fathers.
Just like, this man is unserious. This man needs so much more time. I don't know.
I don't know what that means. Like in terms of being a really good father, like LeBron James, or like you're gonna be
The best
the
of the
hot
best.
that's the best.
He's like,
It
I'm
just
the
doesn't-
goat of fathers.
It doesn't feel like he thought this all the way through before he said it.
Well, you could say that about like most things that come out of his mouth, to be honest.
He starts a sentence and he's just like, I don't know where this ride is going. Let's keep going
Somewhere
one word
good.
at a time.
And then he's like, you're phenomenal.
I also noticed that he's been turning more and more to the third person in this episode. Like, not about himself, but like talking to Kia by saying, Kia is this.
Yeah.
Kia deserves this. I'd be like, I'm sorry, who do you think you're talking to? This literally is Kia. You can just say you. I was like, is this a stress response? Is it like a
Maybe.
subconscious attempt to like emotionally distance from this relationship that he is like stressed about dealing with the outcome of?
But
like,
then it seems like he has worked himself up to making a decision. He
it seems that way.
Today, I think I really just realized that I probably should let Kia win. Let everybody win. And so I was like, okay, so
Okay.
he's choosing Kia. And Kia
Right.
seems to think this. And then he keeps talking and she becomes less sure. Because then he follows this up with, I don't even know if I'm like worth the love of both people I'm talking to. But it's time to start doing the mature decisions.
Okay.
And what's the decisions? What
Like, that is,
are
like,
the
also-
decisions?
What an unpleasant thing to hear is like, I haven't actually decided that I want you, but it's time for me to just like make a decision.
He says this to both of them. And that's why they
Yeah.
both get so frustrated. And he's just like, yeah, I need to make sure I'm making the best decision for everybody.
No, you need to make the best decision for yourself.
Just make a
Let
goddamn
them
decision.
decide. They can decide what's the best decision for them. And they
I feel
will. You
yeah.
focus on you're not their dad. Like you're not their LeBron
LeBron.
James dad. And he's like, I want the best for Kia. He says this to Kia. and he doesn't want to fuck up. And she's like, yes, we both have a lot to think about. You want the best for me. I want the best for me. But seriously, I also want the best for you. And based on how she handles all this, I truly believe that she wants the best for him.
Yeah, she's very gracious. Back at the lounge, Tyler is starting to spiral. It's dawning on her that the power in the situation is all in Kevin's hands. She does not like that. And when Kia comes back from her date with a gift box in hand and she sees the basketball, Tyler is just like, I'm spiraling. I'm over this.
Yeah, like it's clear that he did not end things with Kia on
Yes.
this date,
Yeah.
right?
She's
Kia's
like, cool.
happy. She's like,
We're all still in this. Great.
right. So she goes right into her next date with Kevin in this headspace. She comes in hot. She immediately is like confronting him, saying, I just can't deal with this secretive shit. I know it's me and Kia, and like, that's my girl. She says, we're just sitting ducks. I just want to be somebody's undeniable choice.
And she starts to cry. This is when Kevin tells Tyler that she is phenomenal and Kia is phenomenal. He's found a word and he's going to use it many times.
He has a roster, phenomenal, amazing. But he's like, I don't want to let anyone down.
Here's the thing about dating multiple people, Kevin. Unless you're like all into ethical non-monogamy, you're going to have to
Yeah.
let one of them down.
He's like, I instead would like to let everyone down because that's going to be the outcome of never picking anyone. And I think you could also at this point be like, you know, this has been an incredible process. I care so much about both of you.
I'm not
I
in a
feel bad
place-
for wasting your time, but
Yeah.
I'm not in a place to propose because I still feel so torn. But like, if you can't make a decision and you can't withdraw from the process, you're only going to hurt people. So Tyler says that to move forward, she needs Kevin to choose to date only her today. It becomes clear that this is the day before proposal day. And she has told him quite clearly before, like days ago, that she needed at least one day where they are locked in together and for it not to come down to proposal day. And he seems to have, that's not on his radar. He's not
he
thinking
doesn't-
about it.
Things don't land and stick with him, as we will see later when Tyler says them. He doesn't think she's serious, I guess, or they just don't, he doesn't listen. I truly don't know what's going on.
Yeah, he's just, I think he's like, I'm just not going to be called on this. Like, I'll say, yeah, of course at the time. And then I just won't do what she asked. And it'll be fine. And he's like, well, my face lights up when I hear your name. And, you know, you've been steady. You've been fighting for us. Like, he's like rambling on and on this monologue about like what a rock she's been, how she's really been in it and just like fighting. And that's love, man. That is love. That's true love right there.
And it keeps cutting to Tyler, who's making the most hilariously annoyed faces.
I think I was making the same face. So when it cut to
Same.
her, I laughed because I was
Yeah.
like, same.
I was
Because, like-
relatable.
He seems so oblivious. Like she's asking him to make a decision and his response is, you love me so much and I appreciate that you have been fighting for me. No, she is asking you to fight for her. And I think it's only going to piss her off more to be reminded of how much she has put into this relationship, and what she is getting back is, man, I don't know. You're great. She's great. I don't know. But I love how hard you're going for me.
She eventually basically has to cut him off and say, so what are you gonna do, Kevin?
And he very slowly is like, I'm choosing fucking Tyler. He really does say this like every point in the sentence. He is not sure what word he's going to say next. But he's like,
So true.
he even says fucking before her name. Like he's just buying a little bit more time before he does this.
And that's why she has to clarify if this means that they are official.
Yeah, I mean, he just told Kia that he has to let Kia win, and that meant nothing. So she has the right instinct here. She's like, are we official? And he says, again, like sort of slowly and weirdly, like he's picking his words, you are currently my girl.
Currently, it's
Currently.
very concerning in the context.
This is my current girlfriend.
I was like, there's a reason there's a whole TikTok challenge where women are introducing their husbands as my current husband and then getting their
Right.
reactions.
And like this is if you were on in like a scripted film trying to depict a man being like dragged into making a commitment, this is it. And to be clear, I think all that Tyler wanted to do was just be like, this is it or I'm out, set sort of a boundary. But
Right.
he is literally just like, well, I've been confronted with an ultimatum. And so now I guess I will, as slowly as possible, verbalize that I agree to that. But, like, it doesn't feel like a an active, conscious choice of
No.
what he desired at all. He's literally searching around like, "Is there a word I can say next that will get me out of this?
And
No? Okay, Tyler. All right, you're my girl currently."
so she's so excited and she's like, I gotta take a break. I need a pee break. I need to run back into the lounge for like a snack and a pee. Which also I loved this peek behind the curtain. I was thinking
I
like that
know.
actually makes so much sense that they would be in a date for hours at this point in the process. Sometimes you gotta go like get a snack and pee.
Yeah, have your friend make you an old fashioned while
Yeah.
you run to the bathroom. And yeah, Christine and Emma are there hanging out. They offer to make her an old fashioned, and she's like, runs over and is like, I have a boyfriend. And they're like, oh my God, like, yay. But then Christine is like, oh, well, I think Kia is actually also, she's been in a really good headspace about that. So maybe he should talk to her tonight
And
if
Tyler's
he,
very concerned. Again, this is right before proposal day. So Tyler
yeah.
also does not want to just sit on this and have them go into the next day without this resolved for either of their sakes. And she's
I
like,
was a yeah, I was a little thrown by this because I was like, Tyler, the whole reason that you went in mad is because you could tell that Kia was in a good headspace about this. So why are you now surprised? Like he hasn't had a chance to talk to her again yet. Of course Kia's still in a
right,
good headspace. You seemingly were thrown into a complete spiral by that. I don't know if this was just kind of like a reality check or like a splash of cold water where she like remembered that that was still something that needed to be sorted out.
right. Or is it something in the editing where like more time has passed than we realized, or like was more said?
Right. It's just confusing that she went in being like, "You're messing with me and Kia." And then he's like, "Well, I choose you." And then she's like, "What? Kia's still invested in this relationship?" I feel like she was being a little bit delusional about it before because she was so excited.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's being like, she's getting slapped in the face with it
Or
again.
she's
Like,
just
your
like, oh,
friend
yeah,
thinks
you're
she might be
right.
getting engaged tomorrow.
Yeah. So she returns to the pods and she tells Kevin what she just heard. She basically says, I feel like shit. She's realizing that Kia could be laying out her engagement outfit right now. And she says, if it was me, I'd want you to tell me.
Yeah.
You need to do this now. And Kevin, instead of being like, you're right, I'm choosing you. I'm gonna ask to talk to Kia tonight. He says, it's really hard to choose between you two. I just didn't want either one of you to leave.
Okay, but like you did choose someone, so like what are you gonna do about it?
Nothing, nothing. And so Tyler just has to keep prodding him. She says, have you had feelings of love for Kia? Like she's trying to ascertain like how deep is the connection. And he says, well, love is a strong word, but we bonded and we exchanged gifts and related to a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff, yeah. Um, and but he does keep saying like, "I do, like, want you."
There's so many long pauses. He's like, I do want that, you.
Yeah, I do wanna move forward with you.
So I found it very understandable why Tyler was furious and
Right.
confused.
While he's saying all this, she's just leaning back, looking up at the ceiling, going, "What? Oh my God." Like, she's questioning her reality. She's like, "Am I in a simulation right now?"
And she's even says to him, she's like, I feel crazy. I feel like an idiot right now.
Yeah. I think somehow she there's so much that you don't know, right? Like, she had experienced enough of what was happening that she knew that Kia was still there. But, like, then he's like, "I choose Tyler." She really wanted that to be the choice, and she's like, "He's finally, like, enthusiastically
Mhm.
picking me." He hadn't totally cut things off with Kia, but, like, or maybe he did in a kind way, and Kia was fine with it, and so it seemed fine, and, like, now he's really choosing me, and now, he's making it clear that, like, he really only chose her at the last minute because she kind of pushed him into it.
Correct. And she does not like that. This does not feel good. And
Yeah.
so she ultimately draws a line. And I thought that this was quite clear. She even
She's
says, "Let me be very clear. I'm not spending the night in that hotel with the feeling I have right now. I'm not coming back tomorrow. If you're my husband, you got to spend the rest of your life making it up to me. If you're not, then leave me alone."
Right, like, it's very clear that, like, she doesn't intend to leave on this note, go back to the hotel, and then come back tomorrow to maybe get proposed to.
Right,
She's
because
like,
she
"If you're
says,
gonna."
"I'm not coming back."
But, like, I think she also says enough, like, that we didn't necessarily write down, but, like, that if he manages to make a gesture to
Yeah.
her while she's at the hotel, she will come
No, she's
back.
like, "If you can figure out a way
Right,
to clear this up tonight, then I mean, that is the implication. But you have to
right,
do something. If you sit
right,
around tonight and just wait for me to come back and do this shit again tomorrow in the pods, I am not doing it." And that is
right.
so explicit. In monotone, Kevin is like, "Tyler, don't go. You are that person that I want to be with." It's the most unconvincing response I've ever heard. I was like, "You're not picking up on any of her urgency or her anger." And it's very alarming at this point.
I think that he's really in a position. I don't know. There's something about all of this where I'm like, he's at every moment, he's like, "What's the easiest thing for me to do right now?" And, like, the
Yes.
easiest thing to do with Kia was to let it ride because she was not confronting him. The easiest thing to do with Tyler was to say, "I'm picking you." And now the easiest thing to do is to ask Tyler to stay because he already said he was choosing her, and that's gonna make it harder to go back to Kia. But he also doesn't wanna, like, really put himself out. He's like, "Could you just stay though? Because I don't wanna deal with you leaving."
Yeah, he clearly has some real people pleasing issues among some, I don't know, among other
Yeah.
things. And
He
I don't think
seems
he
like
knows himself.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a ill-intentioned
No, I don't think he's like a
person
bad dude. I just
at
think
all.
he's kind of flopping about, and by nature of that behavior, he is doing harm to other people, not out of malice, but like,
Yeah.
you're an adult person. You need to take responsibility.
Yeah. Like, at a certain point, I wonder if and now I'm just, like, totally out over my skis here, but, like, maybe the process of, like, having so much responsibility, like, at such a young age within his family has made him sort of accustomed to putting his own desires second, and so he's struggling with the idea of, like, really just making a decision that's what he wants. Um, but the result is, in a relationship like this is only going to be that he strings people along, that he hurts them, that he doesn't make the hard decisions that need to be made. Like, you do have to think of what you want to make decisions that are
Yes.
fair to everyone about who you're gonna be in a relationship with.
Absolutely. And he deserves to get the thing that he wants. I think the problem is he does not know what he wants. And this is
Mhm.
not really a great process for someone who doesn't know how to make a decision and doesn't know themselves and their own
Yeah.
desires. Like,
I really get the sense that Kevin is someone who is just would just be like, "I just really want a girlfriend who's nice." And he's like, "Oh,
100%.
no, there are 2 girlfriends who are nice." Fuck. Like, now what?
So back in the lounge, Tyler fills the other women in, and she says, unless Kevin can send a secret carrier to her hotel room, she is not getting back on the bus, I guess, to like come back to the pods.
Yeah. And I think that he probably could have worked the producers to send something or something.
Yes, I'm sorry. If he really wanted to, he could have.
Ladies, if he wanted to, he would send a secret. He would find a carrier pigeon and he would send a diamond ring to your hotel room. In the men's lounge, he does not seem like he is making plans. He just seems
No.
defeated. If I'm wrong and he went to production and begged them and they said no, my apologies to Kevin. But he does not seem like a man who is determined to win his lady back.
Jordan asks Kevin if Tyler was like his top choice, like his number one. And Kevin can't even say yes in this moment. He's like, they're even.
He was like, they were both up there,
Yeah.
but I did think that Tyler and I were going to move forward. Why would you think that? You can't even say that she's your first choice. How did you end up deciding to move forward? You can't even say she's your first choice.
And then he says, but then she did make me think about Kia.
And I was like, made you think what about Kia? That like maybe you want her instead, that you should have maybe told Kia that you are going to propose to Tyler. Like, I don't know even what he's trying to say. Jordan like really urges Kevin to just lay it out there with Tyler, say he loves her. And later we do see him in conversation with the producer, like doing his interview. And the producer asks what percentage of his heart is with Tyler and what percentage is with Kia. And he just is like,
He's like, I can't put it into a percentage.
Can you put it into anything? Like, can you put it into a bar chart? Can you put it into words? Can you
No.
compare it to different kinds of flowers? I don't know. Give us something, man.
All he knows is that he's not there to find a girlfriend. He's there to find a best friend. And I suspect he will leave with neither.
Well, he's going to leave with a bunch of good friends who think he did absolutely nothing wrong. And once again, it was a woman who was to blame.
Yeah.
So the next day, Kevin has done exactly nothing to make sure Tyler stays. His entire plan seems to be to convince her to continue with him during their date on proposal day that she said she would not come
Correct.
to.
That is his genius. Sure to succeed plan.
And he is shocked when he shows up to their pod date and she isn't there.
Like, buddy, she quite literally told you she would not be there. Why are you
Believe
surprised?
women. Listen to women when they
Listen
speak.
to women.
So we cut back to the women's lounge where the women are tearfully saying goodbye to Tyler. She's feeling good about her decision. She's like, I know now that Kevin isn't my husband. He's just someone on the journey. In the men's lounge, Kevin is distressed and the bros are there to comfort him. And I will say in defense of the bros that they only know what Kevin has to say about the situation.
It's
And
true. They
Kevin is
haven't
probably...
watched this.
And we do see Miguel, the man who ghosted Alyssa in their off-screen engagement. And he says, these girls, man, why would she do that to you?
Why would she ghost you? Proceeds to ghost fiance.
Why would a girl ghost a man? It's not right and it's not natural. However,
When I do it,
it's
great.
there will be reasons then, and those reasons will be good ones. But Kevin in this moment is at least feeling some guilt. He's like, I don't blame her.
Thank you,
After the
Kevin.
conversation we had.
That does make me feel more warmly towards you. But the boys are ready to gas him up and be like, man, you did nothing wrong. Tyler was disrespectful and hurtful.
I was like, Vic, I need you to see the tape. Okay. I think you're going to feel
please.
differently. And based on all of this is like, it's like ChatGPT really is just like automated friends, right? Like it's garbage in, garbage out. If you tell them a really misleading version of what happened, then they will be like,
that is unfair.
Great decision.
Yeah.
Like it really is true that you are the victim of history's greatest injustice. Like, here's a 3 bullet point plan for how to turn this around and come out on top. So you don't need ChatGPT. You just need a bunch of lunk-headed dudes.
And by the end of this pep talk, Kevin has realized this is all Tyler's fault. He felt pressured to make a decision, and then she left him. And
Yeah.
so now Kia needs to know it's not that she's not the first option. It's that she's the first of the first option and his second first option.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Like, he literally is trying to blame Tyler for Kia feeling bad. He's like, the fact that she pressured me to make a decision and then left, that makes Kia look like she's not the first option. I'm like, no, you didn't choose Kia.
Tyler gave you the opportunity multiple times to just say, in fact, actually, she took one of your conversations as a breakup.
Right. You could have just gone with it. Like, you could have, you somehow managed to make neither of the women feel like a first option. And now you are blaming Tyler for either of them feeling that way. Like, I'm sorry, they can't both be your first option, but one of them could have felt that way instead of zero.
He also says he needs his wife to show up even when it's not easy. Man, she's realized she's not your wife. That's why she's out. She's done.
He's self-aware, though. He knows it's not going to be easy to be his wife, and she's going to need to stick with it. She's going to need to be a strong woman. So it's time for him to go chat with his second number one, Kia. He goes into his date and again is like he's back in the third person. He's like, hey, Kia, listen, Kia is one of one. She's a flower that has bloomed.
Lord.
I think he's coming up with these little bon mots, and then he's just like deploying them.
It's very Mr. Collins coded.
Yeah. The thing about you, Kia, that I've realized is just that you are a flower that has bloomed. Okay, what do you mean?
And then he says the thing he loves about her is that she wasn't demanding.
Yeah. And her peaceful spirit has made him have love for her. Like, I love Kia, and she is so graceful and so generous and just like she deserves to be loved for those qualities. But at the same time, I'm like, this is why it's dangerous for women to be understanding and kind.
Which,
because,
to be fair, she actually kind of says later.
Right, because he is literally like, I actually love you only because you didn't make me feel pressured or bad about myself.
Right.
And it's like, well, what about her other qualities?
She was obviously just simply trying to give him space to work through a process. She was being very empathetic, but he really just took that space and ran with it and did not actually invest in her. And he's like, look, I need to be accountable and tell you that yesterday I asked Tyler to try and make something happen and do this because I didn't want to see her go either. It says he made a decision out of pressure and that was stupid. And he says, Kia, you are nobody's second option.
I was like, she is literally your second option.
And
literally.
Kia cuts him off at this point.
Like, this is such a, and she's clocking this because the only reason to say you are nobody's second option is because you're protesting too much.
Exactly.
Right. And she's like, well, for clarity, I never felt like a second option. Like, in other words, you don't have to tell me that except that you thought I was a second option.
Exactly.
Because I didn't think that.
And then, and I love that she said this, she's like, I feel as though we've spent a lot of time with you talking about how you're feeling and me working through that. So now it's time for me to take some space to talk about how I feel. Like,
finally.
You're going to listen to how I feel.
She has been so careful not to like scare him away from his feelings with like any sort of pressure, expectation, or feelings of her own. And finally, she's like, oh, what if I just get to express my feelings? And she says she was put there for a purpose, to be vulnerable, potentially find love. She thinks he's awesome and a great guy and self-aware and empathetic. She says all those things will make a great husband. I have love for you. However, I'm not falling in love with you. I have to stand on business when I say that you are not the one for me. You are not ready for a relationship, at least one of this magnitude. You are not ready to be anyone's husband right now. And I mean that with love.
Yes, Kia. And then she
Could not agree more.
She says, someone could pass judgment that you shouldn't have come here. But there's beauty in trying something and realizing you're not ready.
And he's like, no, but
one could.
Well, one could, not her.
Maybe you shouldn't have been here.
I was really impressed again with Kia. I was like, you could, like, I don't think Kevin's a bad person. I know we're, like, dunking on him a lot during this segment, but again,
Not a
none
bad
of this was out
person.
of malice, but it is really frustrating to see him evading responsibility to be like, "Tyler put pressure on me. I had to do this because I didn't want someone I cared about to leave. Proposal day is now." Like, there was a deadline. That wasn't artificial. That wasn't Tyler being some sort of harpy. That wasn't, like, either of the women's fault. That was something you knew about and you should have taken responsibility for and dealt with, and she is both, like, holding him accountable for how he's failed here without being like, "That defines you as a person."
Yeah, she's being very generous because I think the same of Tyler's, that they both just reach a point where they're like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
And so that's fine. He should find the thing that will work for him, and it's not going to be here.
Yeah.
And Kevin tries to protest a little bit. He swears that he felt ready, but he just found qualities. Does he name these qualities? No, that he found qualities in different people, and that was hard. Kia says, well, your heart just wasn't ready to be pulled in different directions. And then she says, to be clear, Tyler deserved more too. And Kevin does agree.
Tell your boys. Tell your boys it wasn't her fault then. Yeah. She's like, "Imma always stand on business, and I gotta choose me every time." And she's, like, smiling. She looks like she is so good with this
Yeah, she
decision,
is
and
so happy. She is at peace. And then we get a needle drop. Ray's husband starts playing. It's like, baby, where the hell is my husband?
perfect. Um, she's like, "Get your shit together, be great, and make sure you're always looking at that watch to stay in check." And she
Queen, a goddamn queen, obsessed with you, Kia. You are incredible. Afterwards, she's just like, I feel phenomenal. She has taken back the word phenomenal. She's like, I'm free. I'm perfect. She goes back to the lounge and she says, I chose me, bitches. And all of the women scream in support. And in the men's lounge, they hear the scream and they're like, oh my God, our boy got
Yes.
engaged.
But when Kevin returns, they're like, "That's a good scream," and he's like, "Nah, that was a bad scream." No, it
Like it
was a
was
good
it was a good
scream.
scream. It just wasn't in your favor.
Kia tells the cameras that she was confused yesterday because there's part of her and a lot of women that wants to fix men. Even though that's not normally like her thing, it still like came out in this process
Yeah,
that she
she's like,
wanted to
usually
fix him.
I just always choose myself and I have no problem doing that. But
Yeah.
a part of
It's
me,
she
you
and
know,
Tyler are both like, "I gave a man a chance instead of choosing myself," and it turns out, choosing yourself is always the
yeah.
right move.
And she, I think, correctly articulates that Kevin will make a phenomenal husband when he understands that he has work to do to get himself there.
Yeah,
Like
I
she
thought this
cannot lead him there.
the whole way that this all played out was so fascinating because I was remembering how he said when they all started the process, like, "My ex-girlfriend, like, it didn't work out, but she taught me so much about how to actually have hard conversations, and, like, she really made me, like, ready for more in a partnership," and I was like, "Ooh, that didn't take." Like, I can see how she probably noticed all of these tendencies that he had
Yeah.
to be avoidant from these conversations and to, like, not know how to deal with them, and now he knows that, but, like, he has not actually resolved
Yeah, and
the
look,
issue.
so many of us need to take space on our own to do work on ourselves or need to find, the right partner where our shit just fits with theirs, right? And like that,
Yeah.
neither of those things were happening in this setting. So
Yeah.
that is where we leave these three. And I think the right outcome
I
occurred.
wish that Kia and Tyler had gotten to go on a girls' trip to Cabo and hang out
They
at the
deserve it.
mixers.
They
You know,
really
and I wanted to see more of them.
They really deserve
Um,
it. We obviously will see, at least from the promo, we know we will
yeah.
see Kia again. Before we take a break and get into the honeymoons, let's talk about our final couple, Brittany and Devonte.
Yeah, so we just continue seeing Brittany and Devonte connecting with each other. They sort of playfully joke about having a feeling about what the other one looks like. Spoiler alert, they both have no idea what the
Yeah.
other one looks like. Brittany is like, "The name Devonte is a tell." And he's like, "Maybe I'm French. You don't know." She's like, "You're not French." He also talks to her about his family history, and we learn that his dad stopped being a big part of his life when he was around 3 or 4 and passed away when he was 18. His dad was just 42 at the time.
So sad.
It seems like he wasn't just not a big part of his life. It
He
seems
was
like
absent.
he was absent. Like his dad showed up to one of his high school football games and said good game, and Devonte didn't even know who this man was, and he never heard from or saw him again. He died not super long after that. And it seems like this obviously really had an effect on him, and he wants to be the opposite as a parent. He wants to be a really active parent, be his kids everything. One could say maybe the LeBron James of fathers. A lot of competition in this crew. And Brittany agrees. She's like, my mom is my best friend. I do her hair and nails. Like, we do everything together.
Very cute.
She ends up in this conversation telling Devonte that the women use this term in the lounge for when they're feeling feels in their heart, the tingly winglies.
Not to be confused with feeling the feels down there.
Yeah, she's
Or
like,
sorry,
we have
down
another
below.
down below. We have another word for that.
It's like, what
that
is it? We don't learn the phrase.
yeah, maybe it's profane. But she's like, you have to run from that feeling. You have to follow the heart tingly winglies. And they agree that they're feeling the tingly winglies for each
It's like,
other.
Brittany, you deserve it all.
I was like, this is very 50 Shades of Grey coded. It's very like, holy cow, like my inner goddess is doing the hula.
The next
On
time we see them is proposal day. Devonte proposes. She says yes. I was like, yes, this feels right. They both were so determined to get engaged, and now they are. And Brittany's like, I am ready to be Mrs. Devonte Lee Anderson.
the reveal, however, is a mixed bag. They seem like, they embrace, like they're excited. They seem to feel good. But in their confessionals, they're both like a little thrown. Like Brittany admits that he is shorter than she thought he would be. She clearly has like an image of like a tall football playing like black man in her head. And he is
Yeah.
like shorter and like thicker, and he has red like in his beard. Like he just doesn't look the way she expected. And she seems to be really talking herself into it. She's like doing that thing that's like, he's not somebody I would have gone for in the real world, but I don't care. I don't care. He's still handsome. And I'm like, oh, I know you really want that to be how you feel, but it just kind of doesn't seem like that's actually how
Yeah.
you feel.
And then she says, I mean, we're all going to get fat one day anyway. Ugh.
Yeah.
More casual fat phobia. This depressed me.
And then Devonte is a whole other thing where
Yeah.
he is like completely shocked. She did not tell him that she was Latina. Her name is Brittany, and her last name is also not like Hispanic name. And so he is totally shocked that she is Latina. She's brown. And he says, that's something I've never dated, let alone gotten engaged to. That is just, when you use the word that or thing, like I know that that's not intentional, but it always is just very uncomfortable. And it's hard not to wonder if it's not revealing of a certain mindset that
Yeah.
is a little bit like othering or a little bit like
100%. And this
dismissive. I don't know.
seems to come up a few times over the course of this batch of
Yeah.
episodes. He says explicitly that he has never dated a woman of color before.
Yeah. Like he is a man of color himself. But yeah, he's never dated a woman who wasn't white at all. And he seems like really thrown by the idea that he would ever do that, which is just is a thing that happens.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely, there are men of color who never date women of color, but it's kind of unsettling how he's like, what a concept. I've never really imagined doing that.
Yeah. So that is just left out there. Again, they're trying to keep the energy up. He's like, babies are on the way. Haha. But
Yeah.
that disconnect feels like it's going to keep coming up. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we'll get into the romantic getaways.
And we're back. So let's talk about these honeymoons, or as Devonte would say, not a honeymoon. We haven't even lived together yet. It's 4 weeks until the weddings. These 7 engaged couples are heading off to their getaways. And this is like more couples than I think we've ever seen.
We usually follow
Followed.
5.
And especially strange because one of them does not go to Cabo with everyone else. Vic and Christine go to Malibu instead. And they just put up a thing on the screen that's like 6 of them go to Cabo and one couple goes to Malibu. And it's like, wait, why?
Why? Right. I mean, our best guess, just knowing nothing, is that maybe one of them had like a passport that was expiring within a few months.
Part of me was like, is it something related to like some sort of criminal charge? Only because it seemed weird that they wouldn't want to explain it. I was like, is it something that they really don't want people to know about? But like, that seems unlikely. They've already talked about their history of having one juvenile marijuana possession charge expunged. So like, I don't think that there's anything else going on.
Just in my mind, the most likely scenario is that one of them didn't realize how soon their passport was expiring.
They should have just told us that, though.
Yeah,
Like, it's just so weird.
Just say there was a or whatever reason. Just explain it. It's very odd that it goes unexplained. It also does tell me that they really wanted Vic and
Yeah.
Christine in the show.
That's
and
like the
really
main
believe in
takeaway.
them. Yeah, because
Yeah.
or else they would have just been like, we're not following you.
Right, to add one more couple than they usually follow and to have one of the couples, like, that would be such an easy, "Well, I guess we're cutting you then" moment,
Yeah,
but they
no,
don't wanna lose
They are the
Vic and
golden
Christine.
couple. It also means that they have a completely frictionless romantic getaway.
Right, that was my major frustration, and I know that, like, the other side of that is that they'll come back to Ohio with everyone else, and we'll get to see them dealing with the hurdles there, but it feels so random and like they're completely out of the narrative loop for them to just get these random moments where they're like, we're having an amazing time by ourselves at a resort. We're going to go to the spa again.
I did Google the resort. It looks very nice. Calamigos Ranch in Malibu.
No, they won, man.
Yeah,
they're
really
like,
did.
I guess we're just going to like hit the sauna again and then get pizza. I love you. You're so great. And the others are all like meeting their exes and then getting in passive aggressive fights with their fiancés.
Yeah, Vic and Christine are like, another beautiful night of wine and pizza, and then a nice little
With
sleep
my
in, and then
favorite
go to
person.
the gym. Yeah.
So that's all we really see of them during the rest of this batch of episodes. I love Vic and Christine, so I'm glad that we're
Same.
getting more of them, but it needs to get more drama because it's going to get boring.
We also just like, I hope someone gives an interview that explains this.
I know. No, you're probably right that it's a password. It's just so weird that they wouldn't say. Brittany and Devonte have had this like lingering pull from their reactions to the reveal, and it seems like that's really carrying over into their early time at the resort.
And I'd say more for Devonte than Brittany. And like, we often see this with women who are a little bit thrown by the way that the man looks. It's like sometimes they can't get past it, but very often you will see a woman like really trying.
Yeah, like she's basically just approaching it like everything is fine. Like we don't see her acting uncomfortable or like she doesn't want to touch
No,
him.
she's initiating physical contact. She's like invested in him.
And Devonte is like, this is not the type of hot woman that I normally date, and I just don't know what to do. He seems really thrown. He's like bringing it up to her, like this gap between what he thought she would look like from her voice and what she actually looks like. And Brittany's like, yeah, I know, I sound white. Which I didn't necessarily feel like she did, but I guess I didn't listen to her without ever seeing her. Maybe I would have thought that. I don't know. I didn't think she has like a notably white sounding voice.
I just think what that said to me is that she's aware of what he thought.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, my name is Brittany, and you thought my voice sounded white.
Yeah.
I'm not white.
I'm certainly not. She's like, my dad is black. My mother is Colombian. My mom was adopted by white missionaries as a baby. Her mom wanted to name Brittany Liliana. And I was like, I'm sorry. The mom, first of all, should always win that argument. And second of all,
name.
Liliana is such a beautiful name. And he's like, yeah, that would have been a giveaway. Then I would have known.
Oh, okay.
Later, he tells the camera that Brittany has dated all kinds of guys, white, black, mixed. So he doesn't think she had a set preference. But for him, it's different. He says, maybe my judgment in the past, maybe that wouldn't have been someone I had approached. Nothing against who Brittany is as a person, but I was attracted to what I thought was my person.
Oh, this was very rough. I was like, this is really giving internalized racism. This is giving colorism. This is giving just red flags are starting to rise from the ground for me.
Yeah. It just does, I can understand being like, "Oh, I just," and, like, this is just very common that people are like, "I am used to dating someone who looks a certain way. I'm gonna keep dating that kind of person." But he seems, like, so stuck on it.
No, it's the way he's expressing it. It's like, I don't
Mm,
think there's anything inherently wrong with like, this is the type of person I've been with in the past. But like the way he is talking about her with this, like, again, othering language,
yeah.
this just started to make me feel uneasy and just feel really bad for
Yeah.
Brittany.
It is one of those things where, like, you know that these are not, like, professionally public communicators, and they don't always express themselves in the best way, and so you don't wanna harp too much on the individual words, but, like, to use words like judgment, that that wouldn't have
That.
been someone, nothing against who she is, like, it does give the impression that he is judging and that, like, he knows he shouldn't. And, like,
Exactly.
judging is kind of the wrong framework for this, or, like, her being lesser is kind of the wrong framework for this, but it does seem like that's the framework that he has inside that he's kind of, like, struggling
Working through.
against. Yeah,
Exactly.
and that makes it uncomfortable to watch, and, like, I do just feel so bad for Brittany who, like, it's so unfair to her, but also, like, it doesn't seem like she even is hearing about this from
No,
him. We're hearing about
I don't
it.
think he's articulated this
Yeah.
necessarily to her. The only hint we get that she's aware at all is that conversation where she says, "Yeah, I sound white."
And to
But
be
what
clear, I don't think she's to be fair, I don't think she's told him that he's not her type, but she seems to be handling that by just, like, really trying to be open-minded and see if they can, like, make the chemistry
Yeah,
click. And I think that's fair,
I agree.
personally.
But you know what? He does really like something about her, and it's her big boobs.
Yeah. She's like, "I don't like to go running in the morning. I can't run with these, like, big boobs." And he's like, "Yeah, you can." Like, Devonte.
She's like, "No, no, back pain. Like
And
it's not
he's like, "Well, I
comfortably."
like it. Get that back pain for me, baby. It's hot." This is the real, like, dangerous lesson of video games that men get. They see Lara Croft, like, jiggling around, and, like, Lara Croft is not like, "Ah, this hurts so much. I need a sports bra." They're like, "Why aren't women with huge boobs just jogging around everywhere?" Brittany tells the camera that she thinks eventually they will have sex. Heavy emphasis on eventually. In
Reminder, in the pods, she said she was in her celibacy era. So,
Yeah, she is like, "I want the next person that I sleep with to be 100% for sure my, like, husband for the rest of my life, so we're just gonna take it slow." She's hopeful that that will be Devonte, but I think she's right to not be totally sure at this point.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Devonte is like, "I am excited for more physical connection, but after seeing this batch of episodes,
I
that's a
think he's
real
excited
TBD."
for a physical connection with someone else at some
Yeah.
point in the future. He keeps being like, "I love kissing your lips." That's so nice. Let's just hug now.
God.
Enough of that. I can't wait to kiss your lips more later at a later date.
Jess and Chris are just very giddy together. Chris is doing his, "You're perfect. You're the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my whole life and ever been around." We do get a little hint that they have talked about politics because Jess is like, "I love being without my phone. I'm not like looking at Instagram and getting extremely stressed out by the news all the time." And she nods to the fact, she's like, "Well, you know that I have really strong political views." And Chris is like, "Yes, I love that." And she indicates that she follows a lot of like political
She's like, "Why is
accounts.
my phone stressing me out so much? I follow a ton of political Instagram
Like, I get it,
accounts."
girl.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, it's hard, it's hard when your phone is always telling you about the news, and the news is never good. Jess tells Chris that if she saw him in the wild, she'd think he'd only wanna be with a gym rat and never wanna eat pizza with her, and he's like, "Well, actually, I DoorDash almost every day." So,
And she's
she's like,
like,
"Yeah,
Great." She's like,
I
"Because
just love eating."
I love eating and I do not love working out."
Same girl. But Chris is like, haha, yay. But I'm like, I thought your favorite thing was like challenging women to do extreme physical feats. So, like, in the long term, are you going to feel good about this? I hope so.
I guess we shall see. Amber and Jordan, they seem actually to be thriving. There was a bit of like a mixed vibe in their reveal, but they get to Cabo and they're like cuddling into each other,
Yeah.
excited. Amber's like, yeah, I mean, I'm down to have sex with Jordan night one or not. Sex is sex. She says most men will like put their dick in a chicken sandwich.
Correct. She's like, I could be that chicken sandwich. That's great.
It's just
Why
like,
not?
Or not. It's
Or
really,
not.
I don't care. I really am
I love
enjoying
her.
Amber.
And she's like, I just love being in his arms.
We also
I'm
learned
like,
that
I love that.
he sleeps with a CPAP, and that is good sleep hygiene for someone who has sleep apnea. Very important.
Yeah, we love that. Health matters. Ashley and Alex seem to be like thriving at first in their specific way, which like gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like the hair on the back of my neck is always
talking
standing
about
on.
sex and talking about reading. Oh, you don't like sex and reading, Claire?
Stop it. You know those are my favorite activities. Yeah, it turns out Alex isn't the only reader in this relationship. Ashley also reads, and she's like, I was reading this book with like dragons on the cover on the plane, and I was embarrassed that kids could see it. And immediately I was like, she was reading Fourth Wing.
I was like, obviously it's Fourth Wing, and she's like, yeah, it was Fourth Wing. I
Yeah.
too read it, and it would make you perhaps uncomfortable at certain points to read in front of a bunch of children. So I completely understand.
Yeah, which is why I haven't read it. No, I should read it actually. It
Honestly,
sounds like right up my alley.
So fun.
But I'd have to read it on my Kindle.
Yeah, she's like it's smut. She's like, it's Dragon Rider smut. And Alex is confused.
He's like, what does that stand for? And she's like, it doesn't stand for anything.
It's a word.
It's a word. He thinks it's an acronym, like snafu. And she's like, no, it's smutty. It's like porn. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
She's clearly kind of embarrassed, but he's like, well, I'm more of a nerd. I like to really read like nerdy things, like Letters to a Stoic by Epictetus. Not even the Cliff's Notes and not someone else's interpretation. I actually like go into the book and I read it myself because I'm a nerd.
So obviously I had to look this up. And I was like, does Alex mean Letters from a Stoic by Lucius Annaeus Seneca?
Yeah, Seneca, kind of famously the Stoic dude.
Or Discourses by Epictetus, also a Stoic. But I was just like, is it Letters to a Stoic? I was just a little, I needed to Google, I needed to check. No. I will say to his credit, often these works are published together. So I think he may be amalgamating them.
I'm sorry. I almost think that's worse because it suggests to me that he has the book on his shelf, but he's never read it closely enough to notice.
Yes, that is what I think happened.
Which is written by which?
He's just like, Letters, Stoic. Epictetus was in there.
Oh, no. I mean, I love that. I love that for him. He is the type of guy who is like, I read self-help, but the classic kind. I love reading The Art of War by Sun Tzu and Epictetus. They help me be like a stronger person who can always pivot no matter what country I'm in. I can always pivot and I can always get the job I want. And that's why I don't care who I get married to. It doesn't matter. He learned that from the Stoics.
And now that he has flexed his intellectual muscles at Ashley, it's ready for him to pivot right to her dangerous eyes.
I can't deal with this. Is when the hairs on the back of my neck go.
He's
like, stop
he's like,
it.
You're dangerous. You're dangerous. Very dangerous. 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 That's an exact quote.
Because he like starts it and then he like doesn't know what else to do with this line of banter. He's like, stop looking at me like that. You're dangerous. And she's like, huh? And he's like, dangerous. You're still doing it. You're still being so dangerous. Stop it. Stop throwing eyes around like that. You know exactly what you're doing. And eventually it seems like she's sort of just like, okay, I guess I just have to engage with this. And she starts being like, I do know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know. Like, I can't help it. Like, deal with it. But at first she's kind of just like, what? No, I'm not.
No, she's like, look, my man is hot. I'm gonna get into it. And then it just
Yeah.
devolves into talk about how difficult, no, how hard she's making things. If you know what I
It's
mean.
so annoying.
It's just
Guys,
not
go have sex.
it's just not the kind of thing you want to witness, you know? It's
Yeah.
yeah.
As we know from how many bad rom-coms we've also watched, it's very hard to make the sort of like intimate moments, like this kind of intimate moment in a relationship, fun for other
Other
people to
people.
watch.
Yeah,
If you nail it,
exactly.
you really nail it. That's when you end up with something like good Dragon Rider smut. But like, it's very hard to reproduce that feeling in other people. Instead, people are like, why am I here for this? I don't like this feeling. Please get a room so I literally don't have to hear you whispering at each other that your eyes are dangerous.
I
But
do enjoy how
they're
open
inflicting it on us.
this cast is about sex, though. They're always just giving little, like, very upbeat confessionals. We're like, yeah, can't wait to have sex. We had great sex. The positions, they were great.
Ashley is so excited to have sex. She's like, I'm a sexual person. I'm a loyal person. What a great combo. And she and Alex start making out.
Julia Michaels' Heaven begins playing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad boys bring heaven to you.
And I get it. Like, Alex is like both like one of my like exact physical. I'll be honest. There are a lot of men that I would describe that way, but he is really hot, right?
No, yeah,
But his
would-
personality is so off-putting.
that is the problem. The more time you spend with Alex, the less you want to have sex with him. But at this point, I was like, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is really handsome.
Brianna and Connor we don't see much of them before the mixers. They seem like they're doing okay, except that Connor's hips are so tight he can't sit cross-legged. This man needs to go to yoga, like stat. This is
Does
not
afflict
okay.
a lot of men, but he needs to do hip openers.
Yeah.
But they seem happy. Emma and Mike also, we don't see a lot of them, but they're just like giggly and cuddly together. And Mike is reassuring her that he likes her physically as much as he does emotionally. And they're in bed together and she whispers, I do too.
Oh,
They
they're
seem just
cute.
very into each other.
And so we end episode 5 on this montage of everyone getting like intimate and cozy in bed. And we open episode 6 on a blissful morning after montage. Mike says his night with Emma was magical. Amber and Jordan tell us that they had sex more than once. And at one point, he had to take off his CPAP mid coitus.
It's just hilarious.
I clearly they just got going and he was like, nope, I actually can't do this with the CPAP on. It's got to go. And I think, you know what? I think this is great representation. It's okay to wear your CPAP. You can still have spontaneous sex in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to put a crimp in your style at all. Alex tells us that he and Ashley had really great sex, just like that, like in his like game tape sort of voice. He's like, yeah, we had really great sex last night. And
he does truly speak about everything in the same tones. You're like, there's
But
just
it
no
was like-
differentiation.
it's so funny because there's this whole montage of people being like, we had sex last night. And this was the one that really struck me as like in poor taste. I was like, don't just say it like that. That's
You're like,
rude.
it's his tone.
It's his tone. And Ashley is like, yeah, we tried lots of different positions. And Alex is like, she has a favorite position. Now that we're on the couch, we might see it again soon. I was like, no, I don't need to know. That's enough.
One sentence was enough.
They do some resort activities. Jess and Chris paint shells on the beach. Alex and Ashley sip some drinks on the beach and talk about all their adventures on their to-do list. They clearly want to travel a lot. He wants to go to Antarctica. She wants to go to like Portugal. He wants to meet a famous goalie or something, but not Tim Howard, who he's met, and he thinks he's weird. I want to know more about that as a longtime U.S. men's soccer fan. And they want to be like the Beckhams. There's got to be a couple every season that wants to be like the Beckhams.
They weren't aware how in the news the Beckhams would be at the time of
Right.
this airing.
When they said this, they probably did not mean I want to have an estranged son who's married to like a MAGA heiress.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was top of mind. They were just
Yeah.
like posh and backs.
Power couple.
Yeah.
Time for the first mixer, which takes place on Connor's 32nd birthday. And
Also, did
they
you
all
notice
sing
that-
happy birthday to him.
Chris had a birthday like right after Connor. Like these men are just
Yeah.
amalgamating.
They're all the same. One guy theory. And And poor Connor, like, he really needs the boost of everyone celebrating his birthday because Bri is about to start getting super weird on him.
It's bad when I'm starting to feel bad for Connor.
Yeah, like, I don't normally feel bad for the guys, but this is the first time that a lot of them are seeing exes, and it can be a little strange. Emma gives Connor a hug. She's like, it brought up a lot of emotions to see him. But after that weird initial meeting, she seems to kind of let it roll over
None of
her.
them seem to have like real heart-to-hearts during this mixer, which bothers Bri.
Yeah. But first, the men and the women all like debrief mainly about like how much sex they've had. And Brittany and Devonte realize that they are like the only ones who are not having sex. Although Britt says that they were like all up on each other to the point that like it almost like happened and they had to separate. So at least initially they're getting kind of hot and heavy. But everyone else is just like, yeah, we've been having sex everywhere, here, there, it doesn't matter. We love it so much. And after seeing Chris, this is when Breezy starts to lose it.
Yes.
She tells Connor that Chris is not what she expected, but like not casually. Like she seems pretty thrown by it. And it's like, okay, why does it matter if he's what you expected or not?
He's clearly more appealing than she anticipated, is my read.
It seems like that must be why. Although later she like describes that she thought he would be like rugged and dark featured and handsome. And I was like, it sounds like you're describing a really attractive guy. So I don't know why that was fine for you. But I guess this is more her type. But we do see her, this is funny, talking to Connor, Chris, and Mike together by the bar. And Mike points out that they all have the same hair and beard. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah,
I actually hadn't seen the scene yet when I pointed that out in our first recap.
Well, you
Mike and accurate.
I agree. Yeah, Brianna's joking. She's like, yeah, if I squint, you all just look like the same person. Yes, you're articulating our pain as recappers.
Some of us don't even have to squint. Like I don't know how seamlessly this will have been edited in our first recap, but we had to stop and rewatch several scenes in the middle of our recap and go back and make edits because we had gotten people mixed up in this group of men, this threesome of men. They blended together so much for us. But I think I've got it now. In her confessional, Brianna says that this whole interaction has been weird and surface level. She expected more in-depth conversations with these people that she had such deep connections with. And it's clear that she wants Chris to want to have more of a moment with her, but she also seems to want Connor to have more on the line with Emma, maybe because it would just make her feel better about how she's feeling.
It's odd. And Connor is clearly thrown by this because he's like, I'm good.
She's like, isn't it weird to see Emma? And he's like, no, I don't, I'm fine. And yeah, she just at every point is like, it's so weird that I didn't know what Chris would look like. And why doesn't he want to talk to me? And this is also surface level. Why is everyone being so shallow? And Connor is clearly starting to feel kind of like, okay, I don't know why she's so, cares so much.
Yeah.
The guys do all sit down to play the most dangerous game, naming one thing they dislike and one thing they like about their fiance. This is literally a game that you play in the Housewives to start a fight for the cameras.
Guys, back away from this.
Connor says that his negative about Brianna is that she never stops talking, which is a pretty core part of her personality. So I feel like he should like that. But he's like, she does let me be me. In other words, my favorite part of her personality is that she lets me have my personality. My least favorite part is her personality.
It's this is doomed from this comment alone.
Alex says that he loves Ashley's confidence. And then he says, and eye contact is dangerous
we know.
From my point of view. The men don't know, but what I love is that they all kind of clearly don't know how to respond to this. He's like, eye contact is dangerous from my point of view. And they're like, is that a thing that you like about her? I don't understand. They don't really react the way he expects.
He's like, I haven't found a negative, except I do traditionally prefer dark features, but I'm happy.
The way he does this, he's like, I guess if you want to nitpick, she's not the exact type of hot woman that I normally go for. And this is so shady because it becomes clear that he is like deeply tormented by the fact that Ashley is blonde.
I know.
Like, talk about being nitpicky. Like, it seems like this is actually very important to you. But he's like, I'm so happy. Everything's great. Mike says that he and Emma have the same sense of humor, but she is very messy and her suitcases are a disaster.
I was like, ooh, I feel targeted and attacked as a person
Yeah.
who has very messy suitcases when I travel.
And this seems like such a cute, like, not a real flaw to bring up, but then he, like, does see it seems to really bother him, and he keeps bringing it up to Emma, and she's like, it clearly bums her out that he cares.
Also, it just is one of those things that can really come up when you're living together. Like,
Oh,
as a
yeah.
cluttery person, it can stress people out.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, I
aware.
know. Yeah. I'm like, why can't I just marry a guy who's very neat, but, like, he thinks it's charming that I'm messy and he loves cleaning up my stuff?
Exactly. Maybe he just wants to clean up for me, but he doesn't get like annoyed by it. He's like, that's such a
Right.
sweet quality that you have.
Yeah.
But
If
also,
something
he's
ever
my
happens to
personal
Greg,
cleaning
I'm gonna find a
service.
guy like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the women also debrief a little bit. Amber says that she loves that Jordan is a big husky guy. And she's also just like, he's restored my faith in men. Like, traditionally, I just like have a low opinion of them. But Jordan is such a good person. He's so giving, like, not even just for me, because like he wants me to love like him or put out, but like just to other people, he'll do things for them and be very generous. And it's giving me like a new respect for men.
Wow.
Another another loss for hetero pessimism. We
Yeah,
found one nice man.
Jordan solved it.
And after the mixer, the couples all go back to their suites to debrief and get ready for bed. Couple standout moments here. Mike tells Emma that he's surprised about Amber's looks because she has a kid and she still looks great. Like, isn't that
Mike.
wild?
Mike.
Meanwhile, he's like, please have my kids. I will be shocked if you still look attractive after that happens. Oh, please do this thing that I assume will ruin your body. She was surprised by Connor's looks for some reason. Maybe it was weird that he looks exactly like her fiance. They think that Amber and Jordan and Chris and Jess are the best couples, which seems like a fair enough conclusion from what they saw.
Yeah.
He does bring up at this point that he does not like her messy suitcases and that he told the guys about that. And she seems pretty bummed to hear this. But he's like, I'm not hating. I'm just learning you. And I am just going to like keep bringing it up every day until the situation improves.
Things continue to kind of devolve between Bri and Connor.
Yeah.
Because she again tells him how bothered she was that no one acknowledged the depth of their connections. Everyone just wanted to rip shots. No one was like talking about the deep connections.
Yeah.
And
I think this
Connor
is
is
maybe the
just-
first time she told him that directly
Oh,
instead of the
okay.
camera. But yeah, so he's like already feeling a little weird, I think. But once she starts telling him this, he just like goes completely still and starts like staring ahead of him.
I think he's just
with
like,
the
what do
blank
you want me to
expression.
say? Because I don't feel the same way.
Right.
Like,
And like it seems it might be healthy or nice to be able to like really listen to her and receive this and try to understand where she's coming from and not to take it personally. But I would definitely take it a little bit
yeah,
personally.
it's just a tough thing. And like I understand from her perspective being like, I went through this crazy experience and everyone's acting like they just don't know each other. But it does feel like it is pointedly about wanting something from Chris specifically.
Yeah. Like I think the reality is like
I think she wants
keeps-
to feel special to Chris.
she
That
does.
is the
And-
sense that I'm getting.
Yeah. And it's just this kind of thing where like yeah, this is a specific kind of social setting. And like, it's actually not weird where if you ran into your ex at an event like this, that instead of going in a corner and having a deep conversation about everything you shared, that you just rip shots together. Like, I have definitely been at like weddings or like get togethers with my ex where we just are like, hey, and then like did some shots. And like, it's doesn't discount what you shared in the past, but like you're here with your current partners and you're at a
Right.
party. And, like, I understand, like, she clearly went into it expecting to have some pull aside moments, and her feelings are, like, hurt that Chris didn't wanna pull her aside
I
and
also
be
think,
like, "You are so
look,
special to me."
don't worry, Brianna. Production will make him pull you aside at some point.
Yeah, there's another mixer. It's
Yeah, they
gonna be
clearly were like,
okay.
this mixer is not the mixer for that.
Yeah. I relate to Brianna, to be honest, but, like,
No, I get where
watching
she's
it
coming
from
from
the
too.
outside, 'cause I too, like, hate this idea that's like, "Oh, you break up, and then, like, where does the love go? Like, aren't we special to each other still in some way?" But, like, they all need to be, at this point, kind of focusing on solidifying their current relationships, or it is going to affect their relationships, which are very new, and Connor still needs to know that, like, she is excited and happy to have chosen him.
That's the
And
thing.
that's not what's coming through here. What's coming through is that she was focused on getting validation from some other guy, and that is freaking him out.
Yeah,
And
it's just a bummer. I don't think either of them are
yeah,
doing anything so wrong. It's just like,
yeah.
yeah.
She's also framing it in this way that's like, "I thought we were all adults." And it's like, is it more adult to, like, sit down and be like, "I almost picked you, like, you're so wonderful.
She also
If it doesn't
brings
work out,
up
call me." Like, I don't know.
she also brings up the fact that they were all writing letters and saying they loved each other.
I know, I
Were
was like,
they?
"Pause. Were you all saying I love you to the person you didn't end up with?" Like, that's not an
I
assumption I would
yeah,
make.
I don't really think so.
She does sound a little drunk to me. I was like, speaking
Oh,
of
for
ripping
sure.
shots, I think Bri was definitely participating in a lot of the shot ripping.
I mean, again, this happens after almost every mixer on a
Yeah,
season where someone is just like rambling a little to their partner
and
and
destroys the
drunk.
very foundation of their
Yeah.
relationship. So the morning after, Brittany says that it's lonely in the morning. She's like talking to a camera. She's like, "I wake up by myself. I have to go looking for Devonte, and he just has seemed really disengaged to me." We do see them going jet skiing next to a whale, and afterwards, Brittany tells him she feels that he has been disconnected. And he's like, "No, sometimes I need to be in my nothing box where I just don't have to talk. And maybe I'll just like walk around and take photos or something. And if it's hot, don't touch me." I'm like, wow, it really sounds like you're describing being completely disconnected from other people. And I can understand wanting your alone time, but like, it's also normal to expect your partner to want to be connected to you.
And I just feel that there is a way to split the difference.
Right. Like,
Like, go out for your walk and then come back and bring her a coffee and then say, "Hey, I need like 30 minutes. I'm going to go take some photos. Let's meet after here." Right? Like, there's a way to
exactly.
communicate that you need space without making the other person feel alienated. And
It
he's
seems like
clearly not nailing
instead
it.
he is using the fact that he needs space to himself to reflect and process as like a way to deflect any expectation of
Exactly.
connection. She jokingly is like, "Well, my love language is physical touch, so if you're not touching me, I'll feel like you hate me." And he's like, "You're something else." And I was like, "Are you saying that in an endearing way, or
God,
I'm starting to feel like you hate her."
we get a few more updates from some of the couples before the second mixer. Emma and Mike go on a like ride suspended bikes on high wires. They get in the hot tub. He does bring up her messiness again, but they mostly seem happy and they make
Yeah.
out. We learn that Alex and Ashley are not planning to stay in Ohio. Alex
Mm.
is really trying to get the fuck out of the state. Maybe
Yeah.
Florida or Arizona. He's like, "Look, I can get any type of job I want anywhere that I want."
Yeah.
Incredible confidence on this man.
He's done it in multiple countries. He's like, "I can do it anywhere.
I was like,
Nothing
honestly,
can throw me."
given the political climate, if that's an option, I would look
Yeah.
outside of the
Well,
country.
I wouldn't look in Florida and Arizona, so I don't know if that's
That's
the most
true. They
important
might
thing
not
on
share
this.
our politics, to be honest.
He's like, "Literally, we're gonna go on a road trip and see whether we wanna live in Florida or Arizona are 2 options." And Ashley asks what would make him nervous about living with her, and he says nothing. And it seems like he's mostly taking this in the sense of, like, he doesn't feel nervous about his ability to rise to any challenge such as living with her. He's like, I sit here very comfortable and confident in who I am and what I bring to the table and who I chose. I guess my nerves are the fact that I don't have any right now. And I'm like, who you chose is like third on a list of three, first of all. And also, it seems more that you're like proud that you chose someone really well. Like, you're like, I'm not nervous to live with you because I can succeed at everything.
Right. And she's like, I just want you to not be numb. Like, are you excited?
Right. Like, she keeps being like, do you feel anything? She gets like even more pushes on this even more at the end of this drop. But he's like, look, no, I'm not nervous. I've been through so much that I'm not nervous. Like, didn't have my father in my life. That didn't make a difference in my life. I lost a soccer career at the last moment and I'm still standing. I moved to different countries. I can do literally anything on God's green earth. And I know exactly how to handle myself in most situations.
Well, Godspeed. Chris and Jess have dinner and discuss children. And she's like, do you think your parents will be disappointed if you don't have kids? And he says no. He's basically like, I think my mom already realizes that option is on the table. And he also insists that like their age gap doesn't matter. She's kind of joking, like, I'm worried like your parents are going to be like, oh my God, he's like with an old chick and now he's not going to have babies.
Right. She doesn't want to be blamed for them never having grandkids. And he's like, no, they already know me so well, or my mom knows me so well that she knows I don't care at all about raising children. She won't care. But Chris is starting to coach her a little bit. She keeps commenting on how she just hates running and she wishes she could recharge by exercising, but she doesn't want to. And he's like, maybe you'll get into it. Like, if you just keep running, it becomes fun. Also, cold plunges. You're definitely going to try that. He's going to mold her.
God. Amber and Jordan do a little back shaving, specifically of Jordan's back.
Yeah, this is a rite of passage in hairy guy relationships. I've been here. I did then convince him to stop doing hair removal from his back because I didn't want to do it anymore.
You're like, this
and
is
also
not
body
for me.
positivity.
You're like, but more importantly,
Yeah.
no less labor for me.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it's a sign of love and bonding, just like the chimps, and I love that for them.
Very sweet.
So
they do head to a second mixer, and it's a daytime pool party.
yeah, and Bria's coming into this really in her head about Chris. She's like, he was so expansive and challenging for me in the pods. How can we not just like talk about how much they mean to each other and how much we've been thinking about each other? And like, how can we not like pour our hearts out to each other? Ugh, okay, nervous. But they do finally talk. The producers certainly would not let this week go by without them talking.
Please. They're
But
professionals.
they played it really well by making Bri insane with no conversations one-on-one between the exes in the first mixer. And she admits that she thought Chris would be really rugged and have dark features. And he's like, you're also not what I expected at all. And she seems to really be trying to suss out whether that means that he's more or less attracted to her than he expected. But he's not really taking the bait at this point. She also says that she still just feels like after how they bonded, it would still be so natural for them to hang out. She's sort of jokingly, but not being like, I'm still like, Chris is going to still take me to do all these like date activities that we talked about. Like, sorry, Connor and Jess, like, we're going to go cold plunging or whatever. And I was like, that seems a little like inappropriate. Like, I was like, calm down. And Chris says he keeps turning things back to their relationships. Like, he's like, oh, well, I feel like you and Connor like have a great vibe. And she seems surprised.
Yeah, at this point I was
She's
like
really?
actually again, I hate to give a man credit, but I'm like, Chris is actually handling this better than Brianna at this point.
Well, like, he's just having a normal conversation
right, like,
with her.
I'm so happy for you and Connor. You guys just seem so great together. And she's like, really? Are we?
Based on knowing you
good?
both well and like seeing you together, I think you have a great vibe. And she's like, do we? I don't know. And he's like, yeah, I think so.
At this point, I was like, oh no, does she hate Connor?
Something has happened. She is like not in on Connor anymore. And he ends up spending a lot of time, like, trying to reassure her that she and Connor are great, but mostly it seems like she keeps trying to turn the conversation back to how she almost picked Chris, and he's almost, like, cutting her off, trying to not talk about it.
It's
Like,
very
it's
uncomfortable.
very uncomfortable.
And it's clear that Connor is watching all of this and just getting really in his head. He tells the camera his insecurities are getting triggered and he's just like trying to dial them back. Connor and Emma also do talk, but it's a completely normal, not supercharged conversation.
Yeah, they mostly just are, like, comparing notes on who's messier in their relationship, and
Yeah, they're like, oh no, we both are messy and it's going to annoy our partners.
yeah, and Connor's like, "If Mike is bothering you, like, that's my guy, let me know, I'll talk to him." Like, just, like,
Yeah.
relationship focused. They all end up in the pool playing Never Have I Ever, and Chris is the only one who puts his finger down for having had a threesome, and Mike yells, "What was his name?" as, like, a joke, and I was like,
Okay.
"That's, like, slightly homophobic sort of, joke. Let's not do that thing." Then Devonte has his turn and says he's never had a hickey. And Brittany is like, "Oh my gosh, my man is so much more pure than I am. That's wild." And one of the guys says, "Well, maybe he's looking for a hickey." Like, Brittany, you should give him one sort of vibe. And at this moment, Devonte says very firmly and flatly, "I don't want a hickey," which is a normal thing to not want a hickey. But, like, obviously the effect is to sort of, like, embarrass Brittany. Like, it's sort of like a proxy rejection.
Yeah. And that's certainly how she takes it.
Yeah, she's clearly really taken aback and, like, hurt, and she gets up to go. Because, like, even if you don't have to want a hickey, but to say that in front of everyone in that moment is almost like saying, "I don't wanna touch Brittany."
Yeah, he's like, don't do that to me. Ew.
Right. So she leaves emotional. She tells the camera that their connection really hasn't translated to the physical so far. And Jess follows her and they have a heart to heart. Brittany says that Devonte isn't being physical with her. She was worried that it was because he didn't want to get too turned on. And so she even told him they could have sex if that would help the connection, which is something that she really didn't want to do.
That actually made me really sad that she's like, I'm offering it up. Okay, we can do it.
Right. And it's not helping.
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm just getting grandma pecs. Like, he doesn't even want to touch me, and she needs more." And it's true. We did see this scene of them in the hot tub where he's being like, "I love kissing you," and then he goes, and then he like turns his face away and hugs her, and I was like, "That's not the action of a man who really wants to make out with you."
And Jess is urging her to just have a conversation, but she kind of already has been.
She already has. I was like, "Brittany, tell her you already said this stuff." Because Jess is like, "That man loves you." Like, he probably just has no idea. He definitely just doesn't know. But she has told him some of this, and he did not respond well at all.
And meanwhile, he's literally in the pool complaining to the other men that Brittany needs a lot of reassurance.
Right. He's like, "Well, I'm just like, nothing's wrong. I just don't want to talk right now." No, something is wrong if you're on your first getaway with your brand new fiance and you never want to talk to her.
Or
And,
touch
like, you
her.
don't wanna touch her, and, like
She's clearly picking up on something.
right, and he's like, "She's being needy. She wants me to
Ugh.
ever show any interest in her."
I was just starting to really dislike Devonte at this point.
Yeah, and now
But
it's time
there
to start
is
disliking someone else.
exactly.
Because yes, there is somebody who wants Brittany's body, and that someone is Alex. He's ready to build a bridge from his current relationship all the way over
This was
to
so
Brittany.
odd. I think we were
This
thrown
was
by it. Brittany was
oh.
thrown by it.
She like, one thing makes a lot of sense to me. Brittany is a stone cold hottie. Like, he looks at her and he's like, "That is my exact physical type. She's gorgeous. She has tan skin. She has dark features. She's fit. Like, she's someone that I would go up to outside of this experience and ask out." And I'm like, "Yeah, makes sense. She's stunning." But, like, the way that he approaches this is, like, maybe the weirdest way I've ever seen someone try to build an escape route from their current relationship on this show. Because he just sits her down right on camera and is more or less like, I'm not sure I'm totally into the physical type that my partner is, and neither are you, right? So, like, how are we both feeling about maybe leaving our relationships if we need to? I was like, Alex, you're not subtle.
I was like, and have you told him? Brittany
This is
like,
crazy.
no.
He's like, I like darker features in my woman, and I'm still getting used to Ashley's type. How about you and Devonte? And she's like, yeah, same. He's not my usual type. Have you? And she's like, have you talked to Ashley about it? He says, I have mentioned it, but it probably needs to be talked about more. And I was like, how much can you talk about the fact that you normally don't
Right.
date blondes? Like, what more is there to say? Unless you're saying, I don't want to date you anymore because I only date brunettes,
But like,
which you can
it's
say.
also so weird because he is bragging about all the sex he's having with her.
Well, as we all know, men can put their dick in anything or anyone. A chicken sandwich, a tall, leggy blonde instead of a small, fit Latina. Like, men, they're just like complex creatures that way. He also is like, if I don't end up like getting into it, basically, I'm totally comfortable breaking her heart to her face. I can do that without like breaking a sweat, basically.
Cool, man.
Like, okay. That's just when he says to Brittany, I hope you're in the same place, but you tell me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what does it matter to you where she's at in her relationship? It's almost like he's trying to make a pact with her. Like, if we're not totally happy with our partners in 6 weeks, let's just throw it all away.
I honestly couldn't even tell if he was like intending to even go. I couldn't tell what he was doing.
It's so bizarre. But like the mixture of these little like, I'm ready to leave my relationship. What about you? And also you're my type,
but also
I'm your type.
Love that guy, and Ashley's amazing, and I don't want to ruin anything for anyone.
Yeah, unless we have to.
Okay.
Brittany looks a little suspicious. She's like, I haven't told Devonte about my usual type, which is tall and athletic. I just haven't felt the need to tell him that. And Alex seems like pretty thrilled to learn that he is her physical type. He's like, the physical is a prevalent part of this process. It's prevalent all over this process. And if it isn't right, if it isn't right, she'd be settling. And she's like, well, this is the ultimate test of whether the emotional connection trumps the physical. And I was like, well, it would be, except you and Devonte don't really have either right now. You cannot tell me that you guys have a strong emotional connection.
They simply need to not be together.
They're so cooked. Yeah. There's no way.
After this conversation, Brittany talks to the camera and she's like, Alex has some ruthlessness in him. I'm a little worried for Ashley.
Literally, I would be afraid of him after this conversation. He's just like, I don't care. Yeah. I feel
he's the
nothing.
kind of person that could turn cold. I am currently reading Belle Burden's memoir, Strangers. And the most frightening part to me is how she describes her husband of like decades who leaves her and he just like turns completely cold. And I'm like, that would be Alex.
Right. And like never sees their kids again also. Like, so
very
bizarre.
Alarming stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It's one thing. Earlier, we were like, you can't care too much about the other people. You have to choose your partner based on what you want. But you also don't want to choose a partner who feels absolutely no obligation or warmth towards someone they've decided is no longer their partner. Like, there's a third way.
Exactly.
So after the mixer, while they're washing up, Ashley and Alex have a very bizarre conversation where it becomes clear to me that Alex is at least less scary in one way. He's a really bad liar because he just thinks of the thing that he knows he did and he brings it up and is like, I didn't do that. If you're thinking that, I definitely didn't do that. Which is comforting. I'm like, he's less scary if he's at least a terrible liar.
It's true.
She's kind of jokingly like, how were your conversations? Were any of the girls flirty with you?
He was like,
he's like,
flirty. No, I don't.
Flirty.
I wouldn't say flirty. I wouldn't say a flirty. I'm just such an easy person to talk to, but I wouldn't say that. What? You want to roll the tape?
He's like, I I do think Devonte and Britt have some work to do, but that's not my place to say. Flirty? I don't think so. I'm very open and easy to talk to, so maybe it comes off that way, but I don't think it did. I'm just very supportive of their relationship. So I don't think it was flirty, but I can run it back with you if you want. I'm confident in it. That is like almost verbatim what he says when he talks. Like, I'm sorry. If your man starts talking to you like this, basically out of
Suspicious.
nowhere, check his phone.
She's like, no, but like, can we run the tape back? 'Cause what the
And he's like,
fuck are you
totally,
talking about?
absolutely. But then he doesn't.
This is also when Ashley talks to him about the fact that she feels like he's been completely numb to their future. And she's like, that's so
Yeah.
great that you don't have nerves, but like, do you have excitement? Do you have any substantive feelings about our future towards me? Like, there is clearly an unsettling coldness to Alex.
Right. Right. Like, I was interested that she was picking up on this because we were starting
Yeah.
to see this, but like they seemed at first to be in this like chemical sex phase and also just at the same time being like, you're my soulmate and like I chose you and like the sex is amazing and this is so great. But she's still picking up on the fact that like he doesn't seem to feel anything about their future. And he keeps saying things like, nothing to be nervous about. I've been in the unknown for a long time. I can handle anything. And she's like, where am I in that picture? Like, where is his excitement and or
Right.
anxiety about building a future with me? It's not there.
And I will say that is an open question because we do not see it. We also see things continue to be weird between Connor and Bri. He's like, when I cut off my connections in the pods, it was over. So it's like a little bit tough for me to see you stumble over your past connections.
Yeah. I appreciate that he was like, normally I would just keep this inside and then I would blow up or grow resentful. And I was like, I appreciate that not only do you know that about yourself, but that you are making an effort to handle
Yeah.
this in a very healthy way
Yeah,
instead.
he's like, I'm just going to tell you this straight up.
And he's like, I'm trying to like understand that this is what you need, but like it's hard for me.
And I was
And
like, that's fair.
And Bri does not seem that interested in how Connor's feeling about it. She's still like really working through the fact that she wanted an even deeper conversation with Chris. She's like, it was such a fluffy conversation, like, and it's weird. Like, he's so happy with Jess, so like we didn't have that much to talk about. But like he was my number two, and like I just really wanted to talk about things. And I was like, I don't know if this is what you're thinking or not consciously, but it really makes it sound like on her end, things aren't as good. And so she has a lot more confusion to work through. And Connor is definitely picking that up.
Yeah.
She's like, Chris is so happy in his relationship, so he doesn't want to process this with me, but I need to process it.
Yeah, if I was Connor, I'd be
He's
sitting
like,
there being
"Oh,
like,
okay."
oh, okay, cool.
Right.
We end the episode with another absolutely brutal conversation between Brittany and Devonte, who by the end of this, I was like, I hate you, man.
They really, like, even if he were not being so, like, ungenerous and, like, manipulative in this conversation, they're just clearly so poorly matched. Like, they need such different
Absolutely.
things. They have another conversation where she's like, we're just not, I don't feel like we're connecting. When you walk by me, you don't even acknowledge me. Like, you just walk by me. You never compliment me. She said that he like doesn't say I love you first. Like, she just doesn't feel like they're engaged. They're just hanging out. And he's like, we're always together having fun, like doing stuff. And I'm always willing to sit down and have a conversation with you, which is
I'm
like,
willing to. It's so
That-
bad.
that's
Like
a
when
knife
you
in the heart.
explicitly ask me to talk, I don't ignore you and say no.
That sounds like something that like your over like stretched thin boss would say,
Exactly.
right? Like, if you need more guidance in this position, I'm always willing to sit down and have a conversation with you about your role.
And he just ends up getting very defensive. He's like, I get up early. I don't want to like sit in bed and like lay there till you wake up. Like, I want to go outside for a walk. I want to fall asleep on the balcony, whatever. I don't want to be cooped up inside. I'm not ignoring you. You just take everything so personally, which like, oh, I hate that. I hate that. Like, oh, you're just so sensitive. You just take everything so personally.
Well, it's like he is taking it personally too. Like, he could say like, you clearly need this in your relationship, and I'm starting to see that like I need something very different. And
Right.
maybe I can't give that to you. But he's like, it's a flaw that you are having needs of your own that are divergent from my needs.
Exactly.
Like that is an attack on me that you have those needs.
It
In
also
other
annoys me
words.
when he says, like, I shouldn't have to hug and kiss you every single second because she's not asking for that.
Right.
Like,
It's like
it
that
just,
kind of slippery, like, she's obviously not saying you have to constantly hug and kiss me. She's saying, I can tell from how often there are opportunities for connection that you ignore, allow to pass by, don't make the effort, that like you're not feeling that desire to be close and connected to me. And that
right.
is weakening our connection. It's making me doubt whether you even have feelings for me. And to respond with like, I shouldn't have to hug and kiss you all the time is really just a confirmation that she's right, that you don't care to connect with her. And she's like, we should be in a honeymoon phase. And he's like, well, it's not the honeymoon. And I'm like, do you know what a honeymoon phase is? She means it's early in the relationship.
Right.
So
Oh
you
my
should
God.
be just like constantly so happy just to
Like
stare
you're
into each
on a
other's eyes.
romantic vacation with your new like girlfriend. Fine, don't call it a fiance, your new girlfriend. Like it should be a happy time.
Yeah. And as you said before, there are so many ways that he could get up early, go for a walk, take what he needs, and then come back ready to connect with her.
Exactly.
And he's not doing that. He's like, I can't always spark up a conversation 20 hours of the day. Again, like these sort of hyperbolic, like straw man versions of what she's asking for from him to make it seem like her desires are so irrational and just unattainable, which they aren't. He's like, I'm thinking about a lot with my family, going back to my life. It's a big change. And then he says, so sorry that you feel this way. And he
Ugh.
does use that tone. But there's other things on my mind too. I'm not saying that your feelings aren't valid, but I don't know.
When you say but after that, it tells me you don't think her feelings are valid. And this is where we end. Brittany's like, I feel like I'm in pure shock. She says, we should want to be in each other's space if we're talking about getting married.
Yeah.
Correct.
This was so rough. The trailer for the next drop looks really brutal. Bri hates Connor's bachelor apartment, which does look terrible and gross.
It's bad.
Mike is worried that Emma would resent their child. Amber and Jordan have tension over like meeting her child, and it seems like there's some sort of stomp out on his part.
Yeah, it's always hard to tell the context of any of these
Right.
snippets, but
We don't know how they piece together.
yeah.
Yeah. Vic and Christine have a tough conversation about like how he feels about a white woman being the mother of his kids. Chris doesn't text Jess and he's like, it's because I don't text anyone. But then we see he does text Bri. We see him telling Bri that Connor is too submissive for her.
Ugh.
Ew. Connor tells Bri to get out of their apartment and basically is like frog marching her out the door. Yikes. And in voiceover, we hear Chris say he's wondering what it would have been like with his number two.
Ew. So lots to come. Again, we don't know context of some of these things, but there's going to be conflict. And I just gathered that I'm going to have a lot of enemies to come. But first, we're going to do our first friends to enemies scale. As always, a disclaimer. This is tongue in cheek. We do not know these people, and therefore this is not that serious. Also, this is based purely off of episodes 1 through 6 and is not based on the trailer.
Yeah, we will take that info into account once we've seen the full episode. So, honestly, for this one, I guess I felt more warmly towards people than
Yeah.
I realized. I think I have a lot of frenemies, like people that I just like have a bad gut feeling about, but I don't have much to base it on. But let's start with enemy. I think Alex might be my top enemy. I don't know. He's just like, it makes me ill.
Devonte might be my top enemy. He's just
Devontae's
the
up
way
there.
he's talking to Brittany is really upsetting me. Kevin
Yeah.
is like a benign enemy. I'm like, I have to award him enemy, but like I don't think he's malicious. But the
Yeah.
behavior was bad.
Yeah. With Chris, I guess he's just a frenemy.
He's
At
he's
this
a
point.
frenemy at this point. There are those little orange flags of things he said in the pods. As of now, he and Jess seem great. So I'm
Yeah.
based on that. He's going to go in frenemy, but he's on notice to be moved to
Yeah.
enemy at any moment.
A lot of the enemy side of this is just that he, like, gets my hackles up. I don't know. I just don't have a good feeling about him, and I
The
never
vibes are
have.
off.
The vibes are just off for me. You could have another guy do many of the same exact things, and I'd be like, "That's my friend. He seems great." I don't know why. I just like, I don't know why. I don't know why. Brianna is becoming a frenemy at this point.
She's become. It's just. I gotta put her. I gotta be honest. I gotta put her into frenemy
Yeah.
territory.
She's just being careless. I don't think that she wants to hurt Jess or Connor, but I think she's
flailing a bit
being,
emotionally,
yeah.
and
Yeah. Ashley. I literally stared at that name and was like, who is Ashley?
That's why she's my sole acquaintance, because I'm just like, I just didn't. I need to learn more about her.
Yeah.
At this point, we mostly just see like Alex monologuing at her.
Ashley doing his game tape breakdown.
I'm like, look, I do love a girl who also loves Fourth Wing, and she does seem to be observant about some of Alex's questionable communication skills.
I feel positively about Ashley so far.
She's like mostly a friend.
Yeah. Mike is a friend, I guess.
He's a friend at this. I mean, pretty much everyone else is a friend.
Yeah, that gets us into friend territory. There are friends where I feel some of these are more on the acquaintance side to me. Mike, Connor, I'm like, I truly don't feel like I know them that well at their core. I just learned how to tell them apart.
You know what? Yeah, Ashley, Mike, Connor, these are friendly acquaintances.
Yeah. Amber is currently my friend. Jordan is my friend. He's sort of like the reverse version of Chris, where I feel like I don't have much basis for anything, but I just like feel good about him. Vibes are good. Brittany is a friend who really needs to learn that it's okay if she doesn't get married like right now.
Yeah, Brittany is a friend that I need to sit down and have like a really tough love conversation with.
Yeah. Tyler's a friend.
Yeah, Tyler's a friend. Christine and Vic are my friends.
Yeah. Emma, Kia, Jess.
Emma, Kia, and Jess are my best friends.
Best friends. Besties. Should they date or get married in real life out of 10, based purely on these 6 episodes, not the promos, because we don't always know what the context is. Kia and Kevin, 0.
Do not pass go. Do not. No. Kevin should date no one. Tyler and Kevin, also a 0. They all need to go their separate ways. The correct decisions were made.
Emma and Mike, relatively high for now. I'm going to give them like a 7. I really think the kid thing is going to be that always gives me pause. That's when people have just different ideas about their future.
No, you're right. So, I'm between a 7 and an 8 for them.
Amber and Jordan, 8.
Yeah. Again, we see in the promo that like conflict appears to be coming, but so far so good. So gonna go with an 8. Jess and Chris, kind of same thing. Like so far so good. Obviously, the like you're so perfect without that being earned always makes me nervous. So I'm gonna go like 7 for them.
Yeah. Again, just a bad vibe for me, and I want better for Jess. So I will also go 7, even though on paper, nothing bad has happened in this first drop of episodes.
I suspect next drop we might be significantly lower.
I'm knocking them down 3 points just for bad vibes from Chris. Brianna and Connor.
I think this is pretty cooked.
There is a possibility of this really turning around if he is patient, but it's clear that it's really getting in his head and that she is not close to having resolution on this, so it's not looking positive.
Yeah, like if we're being really generous, we could go with like a 4.
Yeah, maybe a 4 for me, but yeah, it's not looking good. Brittany and Devonte, I'm at a 0 on that.
Yeah, like 0. Yeah, honestly, break up. Break up.
Ashley and Alex, I'm at a 2 on them. I don't think that if a guy is going around to women he thinks are hotter and more in his style at a mixer during this honeymoon, I think that if he is doing that, he should not marry the person that he is engaged to.
Fair. That's fair. Okay,
I'm giving him 2 points just for them having so much great sex in so many
They have
positions
a
and
lot
both
of
liking to
sexual
read.
chemistry, but yeah, between a 2 and a 3 seems fair. Finally, Christine and Vic, and I'm gonna go 10. Like,
Why not?
why shouldn't these 2 get married?
I believe in love. We don't know anything about them. Probably everything is fine. And I hope they do because we need to believe in something.
We need a golden couple, okay? We've had so much disappointment the last few seasons of Love is Blind. Give us a love story we can believe in. And on that note, that is it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe to our channel.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. The show is produced by us, Claire Fallon and Emma Gray. Our production assistant is Tatiana Kinney-Smith, who also edits our video. This episode was edited by John Bahar. Our theme music is by Tamar Haviv, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like our show, remember to follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave a review wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, spread the word about Love to See It to all of your friends.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and on Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. And you can find our newsletter Rich Text on Substack at claireandemma.substack.com. I'm also on Blue Sky at Emma Gray and on Instagram at Emma Lady Rose.
And I'm at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Peter Arriaga, Kate Rose, Maura Curran, Melissa Wester, and Hillary Schiff.
We'll be back soon.
Can you keep